Live from the Streamline Mortgage Solutions studio, it's Orlando's own Tom and Dan. Whoopee.
Hello, this is your Mediocre Time with Tom and Dan program. We hope that you will find our presentation precise, joke heavy, and just right. Thanks.
Show number 560.
You know what time it is. Welcome to a Mediocre Time with Tom and Dan. I am Dan.
I'm Tom.
Samantha, our producer, is here. No hoodie today because we have so many people in the studio. It's hot as hell in here.
Oh, yeah.
No hoodie, but fresh from planning her big 3-year anniversary party for the Semantics podcast. It's our producer, Samantha.
Hello.
Butler is here. He's been running around crazy, apparently buying me all of the low-calorie craft beer he can find. We're doing a bit of a taste test. I've got a Bell's, a lighthearted ale that I'm drinking right now that's very, very tasty. And what are you sipping on, my man?
I think it's the Goose Lo-Fi or something like that.
Yeah. So we're trying those a little bit, and I'll kick it to you to do the honors of introducing our...
Yes.
I mean, this has been a long time coming.
It has. And she did a chatting with the masters with us.
But it wasn't enough.
Oh, yeah. Never enough. 2 weeks ago.
No, we try to do we release things for our BDMs, but we also try to do what we think you guys are going to want, right? And we have never had a guest. This is a fact. We have never had a guest that I've ever been emailed more about. That is a fact.
Yeah, because
and that even encompasses famous people.
That was my husband.
No,
a bunch of fake accounts.
I'm talking about famous people too. We've had tons of famous comedians.
Give her $1,000.
People love our guests. So take it away, my man.
Offer a job.
Yeah.
So
she needs to get out of the house.
And there's not that many people that you come across in life that just hearing their voice makes you happy. And I think this person, because this is the number one thing we get.
You have cracked the heart of big, fat, bearded, beer-drinking, real men across our entire
pessimist, miserable.
Miserable people. There's only one person that can crack their hearts and get to the center, retrieve the eye of Tafiki, put it back into the thing, and then turn the ash monster back into Beyonce. And it's our guest.
Yes. Now, here's the thing. I did hear from a lot of people like, don't call her Jana Banana. That's like everybody calling you Drunky. That's a radio name.
But that's the only reason people know you.
I know.
I'm kidding. But man, that felt good. Oh, God. That's like the morning piss, like right there saying that.
And then I'm like, it's not the same, I don't think, because there's no disrespect.
Well, she didn't have to do dumb shit.
No, I know.
She just said, I'm Jana Banana, and was like witty and funny. You were drunk.
You know, that nickname came from my mom.
Oh, right. Yeah. It didn't even come from
first day of kindergarten. She was my teacher.
Yeah, it wasn't a radio thing.
Yeah, but long story short, when I was applying to be on the radio, I tried to send in my resume like everybody else, and it got nowhere. And I heard Jim say on the air, hey, this isn't an ordinary job. You can't just apply in any ordinary fashion. And right then, I drove by a Planet Smoothie, and there was this guy in the street in a banana costume.
That was Tom.
And he was, dancing around, and then I was like, Jana Banana.
Yeah,
It all makes sense.
Yeah, there you go.
So I went and bought a banana, and I dressed it up like Jim Phillips and tied my resume to it and delivered it to the station. Got the job.
Oh, that's awesome.
Whoa, I didn't know that.
I gave Daniel free porn.
And then I stole
that's
Jana's
how I got
porn.
my internship.
Hey, do you remember when I stole Jana's porno?
Yeah.
Oh my God, we have to talk about that. We have to talk about that because I have to admit something to you.
What, did you really steal it?
I didn't really steal it. I thought somebody had left it in there, and it was like
I accidentally left it.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
did leave it in there.
Yeah, but I have to admit this to you, and this is the icebreaker. I jacked
Did
it.
you-
I
Oh,
jacked
come
it.
on!
I full on jacked it to it. I did.
Stop!
Well, she needs to know.
She doesn't
don't
need to
think
She's
know.
gonna
needs
find
to
out.
know.
She's gonna
No
find
one
out
needs to
sometime.
know.
She's
No,
gonna find
come
out
on,
sometime.
don't
She would
say
never
it.
find out.
How?
Yeah, I did.
She touched that.
No, I had.
She reviewed it on the
No.
radio.
Wait, you gave it back to her afterwards?
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
Yeah,
this
no.
is too
Yeah,
much.
yeah.
Get the Lysol wipes.
Wait, she's leaving. She's leaving. I'm sorry.
I feel yash.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Very clean. A very clean sperm.
So,
Who would say that?
all right, before we get to it, let me promote a
She
couple
does
things.
not want to be associated with the show
I know,
anymore.
That's
Blew
my
it.
that's my fault.
That is your fault.
It was a gamble after the Channel of the Masters.
Yeah,
Me
it
and
was.
Dana were
I'm
like,
surprised she came
I'm
back.
going to text Jana to get on the Friday Free Show.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
we're like, are you sure?
I
it'll work,
told
buddy?
you.
We're
I
pushing it,
said,
we're
I
pushing
said,
it.
make
I'm like,
sure she's comfortable, bro.
yeah,
Because
yeah.
I'm gonna tell her.
I'm like, I don't know. I'm like, we didn't go too far on the Chatting with the Masters. Then you reminded me of a couple things we said. We're like, oh.
No, you know what?
it's a good
When
50-50.
when Jim called me and
Yeah.
put me on the coals about that, that's like that was like a low point.
Oh.
That was bad.
Really?
Like, it felt really bad.
Oh, let's tell that story real quick.
Well, in production room, you and I were doing some editing. You know, we're doing like a commercials and promos
like
for the
10 years ago. or
yeah
so,
for the
right?
radio show, and then there was a bag in there, and then inside the bag were two adult films.
I had just received my first sponsor, which was Fairville Omega Store.
Yeah, their sponsor was
Right,
that.
and for an innocent girl from Kansas, my parents were so proud.
Oh yeah.
And then you would review
Yeah.
adult
I
videos.
would review the porns, and I would look for plot,
Ah.
and I would look for character development, and I would really try to analyze the movies. You know, I really put a lot of thought and effort into
Did you
those.
actually watch them and review them?
Oh, did I?
Really? Because I come from a world. I come from a radio world where everything's fake, like literally everything. I was doing endorsement commercials for Oreo Cakesters.
I'm
never
still
even,
mad about those.
Never even ate one. Never even seen one.
I went to
I
one
was
of his
saying how-
promotion for Oreo Cakesters, and he made me buy him a drink at 7-Eleven. Because I was like, these things are so dry, I need to get a drink. And he's like, do you mind grabbing me one? Thinking he's going to
Wait,
reimburse
did he
me.
ever
Never
pay you back?
reimbursed
He
me.
never paid
He
you
just
back?
took it and then packed up the tent and left.
Oh man.
I'm not even joking. For
Now I work for this man. I
Maybe-
should have known.
Tom, that is terrible, dude.
for 6 months.
Also caught my truck on fire. I should have known better.
I was saying the golden Oreo Cakesters were peanut butter, not peanut butter.
No.
No one ever stopped me. 6
Never were
months I
peanut
said
butter.
it.
Never were they peanut butter. Never did anybody even say that to you.
Hey, they gave me $20 a live read. I just took the money and I was like, "This is a goddamn waste." Anyway, so
Yeah,
so
I
you
not
would
only-
actually care about your
I
job.
not only did my homework, I would ask my like 70-year-old neighbor Maria, who barely spoke English, to come over and help me. Yeah, right.
I'll help you do what?
That man right there, that man has a big piña. Big, grande piña.
I don't even know if that's actually like the way it's supposed to be said, but
No, I don't know either.
I think I've been called that enough to know that something's wrong.
So okay, before we start,
Yeah, we got some housekeeping, little bit of housekeeping to do.
brand
Little bit of
new
housekeeping.
BDM ladies shirts, side chick shirts on the site right
Yeah,
now. And I know there's only half left. Most
Not
of them
many
are
left.
sold.
Yeah, not many left.
And you mentioned a little earlier, Samantha's podcast, Semantics. It's our 3-year anniversary. It's tomorrow
Yes.
at Rock Pit Brewing. We're
Oh,
starting
you can
at
get
2.
one of these. You can
Yep,
get one of
2
these.
p.m.
Check this out.
You can get the.
Look at that.
There you go. Dan's
Dan's
wearing
rocking
it.
the White Bullets t-shirt.
Yeah, look at that. Is it on the camera correctly? Look at that guy.
That's Eddie Bice also designed that for us. So,
Yeah,
Yeah.
great.
I'm the first one to don that.
that's
Well,
sharp.
other than her staff members, yeah, I'm the first one to rock that. And it's super soft and very limited. So grab
me
one
feel,
of those.
let me
You want to see
feel.
it?
Oh,
It's a
yeah.
little sweaty in here.
Ooh, nice.
All right, my good.
Don't-
When does this become the? Oh, you know what? I want to quote you. Just put me in your lap and wheel me to the stars. Right? Isn't that you?
That is a quote.
Yeah.
That is
Hop
a
on,
quote.
baby.
There
I'll
you go.
give you
Oh
a
my!
ride.
Stop
All right.
it, dear Lord! What have we done?
So
My God.
now, when Jana
Make
was
Tom's dreams come true.
on the BDM show,
Normally, I don't get uncomfortable, but I think you got me. I think she got me.
So we talked to Jana for about an hour and a half about her life on the BDM show, if you want to go back and listen to it. But during that time, I mean, with all the things, winning the gold medal in the Olympics and the cover of Time magazine and how you started your internship. But one thing struck me that I figured we'd talk about today, and
that was your wife.
And
Right across the face.
It got me thinking. I saw a BDM post about getting into a career that he thought he loved, and then it wore him down, and he had to leave. I think he was in the beer industry, and he loved craft beer. He got into the craft beer industry, but then like he was the manager of a tap room, and it was just too much stress.
He never wanted to be a manager of a tap room. I think the story goes that he wanted to just pour beer. And I got a lot of buddies that, for whatever reason, even our buddy Fisher, I think they enjoy, if you're really into beer and you know how to pour a proper pint, I feel like there is something in your brain where it's almost a mindless, relaxing, fun, almost there's a conversational aspect to it.
Meditative almost.
It is. I agree. And you pour the beer perfectly. Hey, how's your day going? Here, you're going to
chat with your regulars.
Yeah, or you're like, what are you looking to drink today? Oh, I don't know. What do you got? You know, and then you have a conversation. So there are a lot of people.
Share your knowledge.
Yeah, that want to do that. But I think he started out just like, hey, man, all I want to do is pour beer and relax. Kind of like you. Yeah. All I want to do is relax and wipe my boat. But then imagine if you started wiping the boat. Next thing you know, you own the marina. Yeah. You manage the marina employees.
You got
a guy running gas. You got a guy cleaning boats. You got a guy making sure that. Who would want to do that?
Yeah, because now
no one would want to do
it's not this. It's not your dream job anymore. You're now super stressed out.
Plus,
and now you're a manager.
He said they wouldn't let him. Wouldn't let him. He can't. You don't have time to pour beer anymore. He's in the back doing paperwork.
Right.
So you kind of worked your way out of what you even love.
Yeah. You outgrow it. Yeah. There's 3 reasons that you need a change in life. You either outgrow it, there's opportunity, or there's shock. Those are usually the 3 reasons.
Mm-hmm. And it kind of struck me because everybody here at T&D Media kind of made that change and left a job that they worked at for a long time, except Butler. He was
he'll never change.
He was jumping a sinking ship, and the company he worked for went out of business like a week later.
What the hell?
I don't know. And
also, Butler's almost like in The Shining when you look at the photo and you see that Jack was there the whole time. Like every time I go to the bathroom, it's like Butler signed the wall as a listener. And he drew a tiny little British flag there, like probably fully knowing he would work here eventually. Like I almost feel like Butler's not real at some point, and he will kill me, and a black guy will try to save me, and an axe to his back, and then screaming Shelley Duvall, bat, blood elevator. I just feel it coming. I feel it.
So, but it got me to think about that. There's probably a lot of people in jobs that they are burnt out in, that they're miserable, or they're thinking, I need to change.
My dad did it. My dad, like his sales job, drove him crazy. Some could say, my mom would say this. I wouldn't bring it up in front of her because it's a sore subject. There's not much, but they killed him.
I think more people than you realize are just working for a paycheck. Yeah, they're working because they have responsibilities. They have to make money. They're working because they have to be there.
Yeah, I'd say most people probably don't like their jobs.
Or
it's not what they wanted to do. It's just, it's a paycheck. You got to pay your bills,
Exactly.
And you get stuck in the rut of being an adult.
True. And the thing is, though, too, there's a misconception that, if you find what you really like to do, you'll never work again a day in your life. And that's not necessarily...
You've told me that.
That's not necessarily true either.
That's
because
what you tell me.
No matter what career you're in and what you're doing, even if you like it, it is still work. Yeah. And you still have to go. Some days you don't want to go. Some days you're not feeling it. Some days it's harder than others. You're more stressed out than others. That's work. I mean, you're never going to get away from that.
What did we used to say when we started? We were like, it's not like no one's ever said to you, well, I'm going to fun.
Yeah, of course.
You say I'm going to work. No one has ever said that.
And some people, they think turning their hobby, what they love, into their job is going to be fulfilling. And then it turns out it's ruined the thing that I love too, because there's that as well. I think I made the analogy on the BDM page. It's like, you really love kayaking. That's not the same as owning a kayak business, because you own a kayak business. Now you're just a business owner and you're dealing with the stress of everything, your employees, your overhead, you're making sales.
And sometimes a job that you have, though, in your life is just a chapter of the entire book. So that's a stepping stone that will take you to the next job or the next career that will take you even closer to where your I don't want to get too deep because I know that's not where we're going
No,
today.
no, no,
But
you can
that'll
get as
take
deep as you
you
want.
to where your destiny or where you're supposed to go or your
it's your
purpose
journey.
or your journey.
And sometimes it's good just to change because you do get burned out and you're, you know, if you're going to work every day and you're miserable. And I always look at it like if it's Sunday and all you can think about like is not enjoying the day, but you have to work the next day.
We used to do
it.
that.
It's like, man, that's not good.
Man, I used to
Right.
hate
Because-
that. I used to
Right.
hate the Sunday dread.
Yeah, yeah,
And it
yeah.
would
Yeah,
make you feel
no,
like you could never
because
get anything
60
off.
minutes,
Yeah.
60 minutes would come on
Yeah.
at night at like 5 o'clock or 6 o'clock, and you'd hear that.
Oh,
and
yeah.
you'd go, the weight would just come on your shoulders,
Yeah.
right? And
Yeah,
you'd
yeah,
think,
you're
oh my
back
God.
at
For
it
me,
again.
it was normally going to dinner, and then my wife would be like, "Oh, you want to have a let's have a beer or something like that," and I'd be like, "I can't," because I knew I had to get up at like probably like 3:30 or 4,
Yeah, yeah,
you know,
yeah.
to get
Right.
ready and then make it to the morning
And-
show, and I was like, "Oh my god!"
And you start feeling the stress. You start feeling the
Yeah.
gut bomb.
Anxiety.
And you're,
yeah.
And really is when you lose your passion or fulfillment that you got.
Oh, the Twitch chat room's already doing the Sunday anxiety is real, dude.
yeah.
Twitch.
Oh, I never sleep on Sunday nights.
Well, and you're always working too.
Yeah.
Like Sunday's could be a big recording day or at least getting caught up day.
Yeah.
You know, for you, like maybe some
Well, just
housework
I think
or
just
something.
anxiety of the week ahead.
Yeah.
Because we have a lot going on like
do.
every
Yeah.
single day.
We do.
And again, like even you get into a new job, it's still a job, and so it's never going to be all roses.
No.
But there is a fulfillment factor that I think everybody needs. You need to be fulfilled, and you need to, at the end of the day, look at it like, all right, I'm working towards something. This is what I got to do. Whatever. This is what I like to do. This is what makes me feel like I got something accomplished. And there's a lot of people that work in jobs that don't feel that and
Right.
are miserable and hate their boss and are afraid to make the change because change is scary.
it is so scary.
Yeah, and-
it is so scary.
And Jana, I want to go back to something you said on the Chatting with the Masters, which is a great story, but you were going through the stress at the radio station of kind of that crisis where you're like, do I keep going? Do I keep doing this? You know, and it's
And I kept trying. That's the thing I want to tell people because I did love. There were things of working at the radio station that I loved. I loved making people smile. I loved working with Jim Phillips. I loved telling stories. I loved that aspect of it. But there was also something inside me that just kept saying, "Have I peaked in life? Is this all there is?"
Yeah. It's just gonna be like this is gonna just roll out forever,
Yeah.
and this, you know, and you eventually.
Well, you and I had this conversation
Yeah.
because, I mean, we wouldn't have this if we hadn't. And I can't remember the particulars. God, I wish I could. But I remember having a conversation with you kind of about like, where is this even bigger? Like, where is this particular, you know, area we're in? We're in the world of communication. We're in the world of radio. Where is that even going?
Yeah,
You know, and then that kind of led to, and I know everybody's heard this a million times from both of us, but, you know, you'd be like, I don't think this is going to be the way we communicate
Right.
anymore. I think
Even
it's going to
Jim
go to
would say
consume
it's a
content.
dinosaur.
Yeah.
Radio's a dinosaur.
He was Jim was one of the first people to
First.
ever tell me, God, I'm going to see if I can say this. Yeah, I think I can say this. It's been long enough. Tuttle was being fired. Okay. He had been fired. And I came down the hall and I was like one of the first people to know because I ended up bumping into a manager. I needed help. Went to talk to the manager. She didn't have time for me because she was in the middle of firing him. I was like, well, wait a minute. And then she was like, well, I can't do this right now. I've got to, you know, fire Tuttle. And I'm like, oh, okay. Walk out, run right into Jim Phillips. And he's like, they just fired Tuttle. And I'm like, yeah, I just saw Catherine. You know, this is not good. And he's like, it's a dinosaur. You got to get out of this. You can't do this anymore. You got to get out of here. You got to stop doing it.
Yeah,
And I'm like, well, what about you? He's like, it's too late for me. You know, it was almost like one of those scenes.
Yeah.
It's almost
Yeah,
like one of
one
those
foot out
scenes
the
where
door,
he's
yeah.
like laying on a battlefield, you know? And
It's
he's like,
dreadful.
yeah, he's like, you can't carry me. He's like, look, I'll be fine. He's
Yeah.
like, and,
Yeah,
and,
yeah.
and Jim always
Go
was honest
save
about
yourself,
like,
young man.
I got a big fat contract. I get paid a shit ton of money to do something I've done natural. You know, like he
Yeah,
was
yeah,
always really honest with us about get the fuck out of here. Like,
and what-
not
and-
to say it like that, but I'll say it like that.
And regardless of the actual industry you work in, for me too, I looked at it as like at the end of the day, and I mean the day of like being my life, and when I'm done with this, when I'm done working and I'm an old man, I don't want to look back and be like, man, I never attempted to do this, or I should have left or done something different. I like, man, that was it. Like my whole career's and that's it. It's like I never tried anything. Yeah. And so that's what I was most afraid of, is like not trying, because I assumed, I was like, well, I could always go back, or I could always do something, but if I don't try, I'm just stuck here and I'll never know.
I was taking this writing exercise, and they were walking me through this meditation, and this is a little morbid, but they were describing this funeral that you're at, and they're saying, look around, you see your coworkers, you see people from your inner circle, and they're describing this funeral, and they have you start writing about it, and then they say, now they open the casket, and there you are laying there, and so literally in this meditation exercise, they have me picturing my own funeral, and then they
you're
say,
like, why am I burned?
I know.
Like, oh, it's a horrible accident. You're like, really?
Your therapist.
Oh yeah,
my
you're crazy. It was bad. Like I'm like, this is I'm Freddy Krueger.
Your therapist is a psychopath.
Right?
My God.
Oh, but the cool thing is my casket was white with Sharpie markers, and everybody was like drawing on it. But anyway,
cool.
yeah, it was kind of cool.
God.
But anyway, the weird thing was is
Draw a
that,
dick.
is that
I drew a dick on Jana's casket. Let's get the fuck out of here.
oh my God. Anyway, the thing
it's
was
big. I drew a big
is
one
that
for you.
people were standing up though and talking about my legacy.
Yeah.
And that's where this was going,
Yeah.
is that it wasn't, they were like, okay, what do you want them to say about you? And that was kind of like, oh,
My dad
do
used
I
to
want them
say-
to say, oh, she has this Irish accent that she does on the radio? Because that was a kind of a character.
I see what you mean. Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
There's more to me to do. Like, I have more to give to this world.
Yeah. And
My dad used to say the goal is to get as many people at the to the funeral as humanly possible. I mean, that's the secret of what's the meaning of life, is to have as many friends, coworkers, and family members show up when you pass as humanly possible. And then if you can do that, then you won. That's it.
And I'm not telling everybody to quit their job and start something
I
new.
am.
Because
I think you should all quit. If you're listening to this right now,
Oh, God.
and you're even just a tiny bit unhappy, quit.
Because
Let's do a mass walkout right now.
that
Yeah.
may not be the best option
And
for
desert
you.
your family, because you need a little alone time
Yeah,
right now. If
yeah.
you can't fix yourself, you can't fix them.
Self-care.
I've
Yes,
heard
yes.
when we started this, there was a lot of people that were like, I'm going to quit my job and start a pile. I'm like,
Don't do that.
I was like, no.
You also got a lot of really insulting text messages from people that I won't name that are like, are you sure you've thought this out? Because
You got
I
a
don't know
baby
if
on
you
the
know
way.
this. I don't know if you know this, but you have a wife, and wait for it, and a baby coming. Have you thought about
And
that?
that costs money.
That's the most fucking insulting thing. Have you thought about it? Really?
I should have been like, what? Oh my God.
You're right.
Not only have I thought about it,
didn't even.
I obsessed about it.
Yeah.
I couldn't sleep
Yeah.
for months.
It
and
killed
months.
me inside. Yeah.
I was on medication. I thought I was going crazy.
So,
Yeah.
Jana, let's talk about that for a little bit. For those of our listeners that didn't hear the BDM show, and we kind of went through it, but right before you exited your radio job, you went on a safari, and this is an unbelievable story. And during the safari, and you can go ahead and tell us about the elephants.
Honestly,
Crazy.
we were in the middle of the Serengeti, and long story short, Jason had gotten up early that morning to go out in the bush. And I...
Oh, yeah.
I'm sorry, Jana. We are children.
Well, I was tromping around in the bush last night, and let me just tell you, I did see an elephant charge, and it might have been my reflection in the mirror.
Because I'm a baby elephant.
Okay, so...
Look at that trunk.
I slept in a little bit that morning, and when he came back... the sun had just started to rise, and I was awakened by my walkie-talkie, and I hear, "Psst, Jana, do not move."
Jana, do not move. You're in terrible danger.
That's exactly
Simba 1, Simba.
Oh, hold on.
Jana, Simba 1. You do not move. You're in terrible danger. There's a baby elephant near you and a mother elephant very near you.
Yes, that
Like
was
that?
exactly
Okay.
it. In fact, I have video
Yeah, she
of
does.
all of the elephants surrounding me because Jason was on the outskirts and they didn't know that I was in the tent.
Yeah,
They
yeah.
thought Jason and I had both gone out, so they thought the tent was empty. But little did they know I was inside.
Yeah, you're just having a snooze.
And all of these elephants had come and surrounded our tent.
And I went and saw it, and it just picture how like maybe aggressive you think it could be, like if you're inside of it and you can't view it.
Yeah, yeah.
And then go see the photo, and you're like, oh my god.
Yeah. And, here's the other thing.
my
So
God.
I don't know if you know much about African safaris, but when you shower,
lot.
they bring like these big buckets of water. So the night before, they had brought me this big bucket of water, and I was so scared that I wasn't going to get the shampoo out of my hair in
Sure.
time. So I was like really hurrying to shower, and I had leftover water in my shower.
Yeah.
So I could hear the elephants drinking the water out of my, they were like drinking
your
the
shower
water
water?
out of
Drink
my
that! Goddamn, there's Pantene in there. At least their nose is shiny.
Anyway.
Shiny trunk.
So I go over to the edge of my tent and I look out, and literally 30 elephants at least, just all around me. And right in front of me is a mother elephant with her baby.
Jesus.
And it is literally like 6 feet staring right at me. And in that moment, I just felt like this overwhelming sense of, we've got you. We've totally got you. And there's so much out here that's bigger and better than being a phone screener at a radio station
Yeah.
in Central Florida.
Yeah.
And you just need to
And that was
Take
the
the
moment
leap.
you knew, right?
Yeah.
Or you were saying being a phone screener on a radio show in Orlando is worse than being trampled by elephants. That's what I got out of it. That's what I got out of it.
You're sorry yelling, trample me!
Stop my wet hair. Stop me good.
So
No, but I
So I got
it was majestic to you,
It
right?
was.
It was like religious in some way,
here's
right?
The
Like
thing is, I was not spiritual at all
Yeah.
at that point.
Didn't make you.
In fact, we were what we call creasters at that point. We went to church on Christmas and Easter, and that was it.
I've never heard that. That's
Yeah,
hilarious.
that was it.
Yeah.
And as soon as we got back, I came in and I came into the station and I quit my job. And people thought that I was crazy. My parents thought I was crazy. My friends.
Yeah.
I mean, it's amazing how you realize who your friends are and who your friends are not.
Yeah.
And even, I know this sounds weird, but then when you lose the title of Jana Banana, you kind of lose not only your identity, but you lose a little bit of panache. Yeah. Is that the word?
No, I felt that when I resigned. I kind of felt like, well, let's say because we knew sort of what we wanted to do, but we didn't know if it would work.
Yeah.
Because nobody'd really done it. I still haven't seen many people even do it, and I don't even know what I'm talking about. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But my point is that I
don't
felt
either.
I felt will I ever be able to did you feel like this? Will I ever be able to achieve something even as great as that again?
Right.
Like maybe I should have stayed with what was great because maybe I'll never be able to go further than that, which is total. It's
and so many people would
it's a toxic, and my therapist says it is it's a conflictive, and it's your brain lying to yourself because that's bullshit.
And so
Total
many
bullshit.
people would say, "Oh, you think the grass is greener on the other side?"
Yeah.
You know, they give you these stupid
And it is.
analogies,
Yeah.
and then they give you reasons why those analogies are false. And I'm like,
yeah.
well, I don't know. All I can tell you is that it's like I equate it to a caterpillar, and a caterpillar, its whole life, gets up and its only job is to eat. And it eats and eats and eats. And then one day, it just says, you know what? I can't do this anymore. So it takes...
It's like a radio show host.
It really is.
And
There's
so-
a lot of
Right?
similarities there.
All right,
yeah.
okay.
And so it takes
More like a
its,
caterpillar. Really.
it takes its spit, and it just makes this, like, little sleeping bag, right?
Or a hockey jersey.
Yeah. And then it just kind of like makes this little cocoon, and it just turns into like goo.
Yeah.
That's what happened to me. I turned into goo.
Oh yeah. And I think that what we're talking about is the reason why people don't leave their careers or jobs, because there's that fear. Also, there's that mentality of like, man, I've been here for however long. I've built this up.
That was me.
It took me years to get where I am.
How long was I there? Like 12 years.
And it feels like you're like throwing that all away.
Yeah.
Like all that progress, everything you work for, you're like, I threw it all away. I think they make you feel like that, especially in the entertainment industry. They're like, well, and things have changed now because really everybody still knows who you are, Jana. And now there's different outlets, like infinity different outlets. There's the internet, so you can get on any platform and still, get in front of the people that know you.
Arguably, you could create your own. If you wanted to buy a server and just start your own little, thing, you could totally do it.
And that's kind of what Jana is doing now, and we'll talk about that soon. But I figured
I'm stoked to catch you and your hubby speaking.
Oh, I know.
Because I know you guys are doing that, and I'm definitely gonna whenever you guys are doing it. But I want to make sure that Andrea can come with me because I want to bring my wife.
Oh yeah.
Because she's super positive, and as much negativity and funny jokes as you and I make, I think that this year we have been more positive than we ever have been.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, the last time I was here, your 666 boat, your devil boat.
Oh, that's still happening. Let's not talk about that.
Yeah.
It's
But
bad.
then all of a sudden, you guys were totally positive.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I mean, anytime he ruins his life for the betterment of the company, I'm pretty positive.
That's a positive way of looking at it.
I'm positive. I'm positive.
Totally positive.
I'm positive that one of his family members will come back from their inaugural trip never the same.
Well,
that I'm positive of. It's going to be him.
we kind of lean on the negative and the pessimistic just because
it's funnier.
It's funnier. Not too much
but
comedy.
I think we're more
positivity.
positive this year because
2
years ago, money problems crazy. Or 3 years ago, I mean, like literally, like oh my god, that like we had. Bills coming in and didn't know what to do. Then we had it the next year, and then we had and then like this year, I kind of felt like, and would you agree that this would normally be the time where we get anxiety and we get like
we're
scared
freaking out about something.
But we made the right choices. Like we delegated better with with Samantha and Travis. We have people that we can count on now. We
got a solid team that's stabilized, and it's made me and Daniel feel more positive about the. We
had to let go a little bit, and it's very difficult. Sometimes we'd come in here and we wouldn't even be like we would want to try so hard to be entertaining that the grip was too tight. You know what I mean?
And then you can't be entertaining.
No,
because you just have to go with the flow.
Yeah, you got to just kind of like this morning we were cutting commercials and we're fucking them all up, and I'm just like, dude, you just got to get into it. We just got to lay in the fuck ups. And just let them wash over you.
It's like improv. Like you guys are all into improv.
Well, he loves it.
Let me get my noodle.
If you ever want to improv, he's got a trunk of hats and he's got some pool noodles back there. He loves it. But he always does. He's got a gun.
Like Michael Scarn. So
Michael Scarn.
I figured Jana can help us out because we
give me what was your vision in today of bringing in, because I kind of think that based on what you've done, you are a master or an expert in this type of field because, maybe we are too. Maybe I'm not giving us enough credit, but I feel like you are just from your positivity and the way that you make our listeners feel.
The only problem is Jana is definitely more positive and more
naturally,
supportive.
Naturally.
And we're gonna talk to some BDMs that have been in a career for a long time that's on like the verge of maybe changing, maybe not. And we put the word out yesterday on the BDM page, and we got some BDMs that are gonna call in.
Nice.
And I figured Jana can help.
Let's do it.
Give them some advice, and me and Daniel can weigh in. If we're like, don't do it, bro. Because sometimes it's not good. Sometimes you shouldn't change.
I think Samantha's is extremely drastic. If you want to talk about going from, comes here, works for free with us for what, 14, 17 years?
Right,
so she works for free with us. I might as well just say she worked for free with us for 20 years.
Yeah.
And then finally, we are stable enough, again, only really happening in the last less than a year, to do what we want to do. I mean, how did you feel, Sam? I mean, you must have I
was terrified.
It's super scary, right?
Yeah. I did 5 years as a pharmacy technician, and I was thinking about getting my license because nothing was going on over on this end with you guys.
well, we
kept
know.
hiring other people.
They just stayed around long enough for us to give them $20 a week at Presto.
Yeah, it's true.
So it wasn't really hiring. It was more of a, hey, I'll work for next to nothing. And we're like, we knew that Samantha.
The excuses.
I'm just saying, we couldn't. A full-time job was unheard of for us to hire a full-time person at that time. But anyway, I'm glad that it did.
And here you are.
And here I am.
Here she is.
It worked out.
And when you get up in the morning, would you rather go to the pharmacy job or
no.
come here?
It was miserable. Totally wouldn't.
Yeah. And even though this, though, is probably, 10 to 40 times more work, because the other thing you might have been able to do it mindlessly.
Right.
In this, you're creative, you're funny, your ideas matter. Like when you give Tom and I feedback, I mean, both of you guys, it's invaluable to have you guys do that.
But it's scary being in the entertainment world and working on your own and being like a contractor now, because I had to find out what I was going to do with insurance, and then like, what if things turn bad here for Tom and Dan? Then I'm out of a job.
Guess what? At least for the next 6 months, no chance. Coronavirus keeps everybody inside. They need entertainment. Cacao.
Hello.
Yeah.
And
you're just going to have to move in here.
Okay.
We'll all have to live together in here.
It'll be like Big Brother.
Yeah, we'll just Amazon food to the door.
Well, you know what? Everybody who has changed their job that I know of ends up being fine, and everybody who doesn't changes their job ends up being fine.
There's only one radio person that I've ever seen not succeed and go higher than radio when they've left radio, and that's only because he loves radio too much, and it's Tuttle.
Oh, yeah.
He's the only one, but it's because he loves radio so much. He's like, that's his favorite thing in the world, and I feel like he is the cut out to do that. But everybody else, like whether it's engineers like Tom Banks, I think Jimmy D's still doing it, but he bounced in and out. Other promotional people that I knew that went off to work for other companies, they're all LTs over at Hard Rock now, booking some of the biggest acts in the world. We get to work with her now. These are people that have gone out to do like grandiose mega things.
Yeah, and the times have changed where you work in one career and then you get a pension and a gold watch, and they're like, there it is. You put in your 35 years and you're retired. Yeah, and people jump around, and I think it's more healthy to do that because, you see what you like. Have different options. All right, we got the BDM on line.
Right now we have David on line 1.
All right.
All right, there you go, Tom.
So, David, how you doing?
What's up, guys?
So,
he's sad already.
Yeah, ball of fire, David.
So, David, you're Jana's
Did you
here
eat
with
breakfast,
us.
David?
He's crying.
Yeah. Are you crying, David?
No, I'm not crying.
So,
I know, David.
Tell us about your job currently, David, and why you're thinking about changing it.
Well, I currently run a juvenile detention center.
Okay. All right. So
that sounds super fun.
That can get tough.
Yeah.
No, you're. And what does that entail? Like,
I think juvenile detention is only fun in the pornos. Everything else is just really, really hard work. A lot of fighting.
What's your
a lot of having turds thrown at you? I feel like. A lot of turds.
Yeah. What's your day-to-day activities?
Well, my day-to-day activities include making sure all the counts are right, which is, we count all the cues up, make sure we have total numbers, make sure we're in ratio, which means that we have, you have to have so many adults for so many kids. I do payroll, I do hiring and firing, I do training. Then I do, then the physical parts is you have to restrain kids sometimes, you have to move kids sometimes, break up fights, stuff of that nature.
So,
you deal with
God, that's hard.
a lot of stuff like that.
So hard.
How long have you worked there?
I'm almost at 5 years.
Okay, all right. So,
do you have any skills, like education? What is your education that you work there? Or what is your background?
Well, I have a master's in education. I have taught high school before.
That's hard, too. That's a really hard job.
And I've done, I've managed a few different places. I've done a lot of things like that. I kind of just, to be honest, I kind of fell into this job. I was staying home with my son, and I went to volunteer there one time. And I was tutoring some kids out there, and then one of the persons asked if I wanted a job, and then I kind of just worked my way up, grinding through the motions to get where I'm at.
Are we supposed to find him a job?
So my question is,
how do you feel about NASCAR drivers?
so
I'm just going to toss that one
do you
out
feel this is this your calling? Is this what you're meant to be doing? Or do you feel like you're meant to be doing something else in the world?
Well, I mean, I love working with kids, and I like working. I like working with the juvenile population. Unfortunately, I've had some pretty severe health issues in the last few months, and it's kind of made it. It's kind of a two-pronged thing. They're kind of forcing me out, and I'm kind of in that mindset is like, I don't know how much longer. The physical aspect is a main aspect of what I do. I mean, I don't break up fights every single day, but it's a lot. I was in your studio a couple weeks ago. I tore my shoulder at work, wrestling and breaking up fights and stuff like that. And then now with the open heart surgery I recently had, it's kind of like I get scared. What if a kid turns and punches me in the chest?
And then, no offense, David, but any 16-year-old juvenile detention center teen could beat you up easily. I think. I'm just saying, easily, punch you out, no problem. With the
now.
So it sounds to me like you've already answered your own question, and I don't want to give you advice that you don't want to hear, but it sounds to me like your body. And maybe it sounds to me like you're leaning toward leaving anyway, or it sounds to me like that's the way your gut is telling you to go.
Jana's saying
Tell me where I'm wrong.
You're gonna die, sir.
Oh my God!
But that's not what you're saying. Oh, I thought. Oh, okay. Oh, sorry.
No, that's no. I mean, I'd be lying to you if I didn't tell you. Like, part of my my gut feeling isn't that it's probably a change is probably necessary. I mean, the job is stressful enough. I mean, I've been on call for basically 4 years, 24 hours a day. It's a time consuming. It's a lot of sacrifice for my wife and kids.
Yeah, and you did a good job at it, and sometimes things change. And
from what I've learned from
the fact that you were able to say this to a child,
you could have an aneurysm on the toilet. You never know.
Yeah, the fact that you can yell that at kids is, you get a couple of those in, you move on to something else.
From what I've learned from Jana is you have to go to Africa, get in a tent, and see what animals.
To see what animal, and then that animal will decide what you do.
Yeah. If it's a bunch of hyenas,
now the worst thing is if you unzip your tent, you go out and you don't hear anybody, you hear nothing. You unzip your tent, you open it up, you go outside. What are you surrounded by? Like 35 16-year-old kids, detention kids, and they're like, we'll beat you up, and you're like, oh, and you just zip it,
like,
you zip it back in, you zip myself back in.
That's all I was meant for.
I'm gonna drink this whole bottle of shampoo.
So,
Dave, it sounds like to me, I think you have education. I think you have experience.
He's got a master's. That's huge.
Yeah.
That's
and
huge.
If it were my life, I think that I might start looking now. And maybe start putting some feelers out there, maybe start using your inner resources, your network, and put together that resume. See what comes available for you.
Yeah, have you tried, David, to start, applying for different jobs? Have you made any moves to start leaving?
Well, I mean, I've been off of work for a few months because of my surgeries. So I haven't really been, medically able to kind of go hit the pavement for jobs. I mean, I've kind of perused around. And
hold on, can you ride the disability train? That's pretty sweet. I mean, what do you get? Like, I think they give you like $850 a month or
you
something.
Just get loads of money in pain pills. And I'm like, I want that.
They did. Well, see, that's
fucking elephant.
Then you get a side. My Miami buddies tell me you get a side gig, paid under the table. I mean, you could go to prison, but then you're back where you started.
No, again, the idea is to give them.
You're good to go. You know
It's a little different when you're not with kids.
The inside.
Yeah, they didn't give me a lot of pain pills. That was a That was a
A
bad
myth?
thing.
That was a myth.
Oh, okay.
Well, are we supposed to give him a job? Okay,
You know,
your
I have no
new
idea.
job. Hold on, your new job is, and this is what you're gonna do. Ready? You are a character artist at Universal Studios, drawing couples on surfboards.
Sounds good.
What about like a guidance counselor or something?
He'd be great for that. He'd be great for that.
Dave, you've got this.
In the
Start looking around, and I think something's going to open up for you.
Thank you, ma'am.
All right.
You got this.
Thank you
Dave,
so much, David. Appreciate that.
I think his situation.
You got to open your mind. You got to open your heart. That's already been done. To the idea of moving to a new job. I'm sorry. Don't make me.
It's fine.
It's fine.
And I think Dave, he's like just from a situation gonna have to get a new job, and be forced to do something different.
He's a good friend of mine.
You don't want to have open heart surgery and worry about getting punched out.
No. I mean,
Right?
Plus that's a
he's
stressful
really
deal.
good at that, and he's done that. And I knew him when he was a teacher too, and he's really good at that. So I think the change will be scary, but you're going to have to pull it back. And I think Samantha might have nailed it. Guidance counselor would be really, really good.
Yeah, or
Change
just go back to
is
teaching.
Scary. Change is scary. Like there's different stages, and I've been studying this. So like the first stage is you totally fall apart and you totally go through like a mourning process of your past life, but then you kind of start to accept what happened. And then stage 2 is you kind of start dreaming and scheming of what may be in the future, but you don't want to tell anybody because you're like, ooh, I don't want anybody to.
Well, they pass
Tell
judgment
me that I'm
immediately. They pass
wrong.
judgment. Right?
Yeah.
Or if you
sometimes you just want to tell somebody, you don't want to hear what they have to say about what you're saying.
Right.
But also, if you tell people, then you're almost obligated
To
to
do
follow
it.
through.
Right.
So that's scary. It's like telling people you're going on a diet or quitting smoking. Or
Right. And also during phase 2, I've learned that people often will change their hair, or they'll start redecorating their house.
Hey, that's what
or
you do.
they'll start.
He came in here one day with a Gary Spivey. It's like a full perm.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh yeah. I was like, something's got to change.
Fucking weird. He looked like Mark Nijame on the billboard when he had the curly hair, the long curly hair. Yeah.
Oh, that's funny.
Yeah.
I went through my closet. I threw out 5 bags of black clothes.
Oh my God.
Why?
I realized that I was wearing black every single day.
Like subconsciously to
every
work.
single day. I was like a rolling cloud.
Really?
That's so weird.
Isn't it?
Because
threw
I don't
away
remember you ever doing that.
5 trash bags.
Over
of
time, that must have just
black
happened.
Black clothes.
It's crazy subconsciously that you like lean towards black clothes. Like you knew your brain knew
Dude,
you were
it's
miserable,
not.
and you're like, I'm gonna wear black hair.
As much as the process inside is complicated, it's not that
Right?
complicated. You can see it.
I
When you step
know.
back and look at it, you can see it.
Right?
You can see it.
And then stage 3 is you start. That's when you actually start implementing some of these dreams, and you start telling people, "Hey, this is what I'm thinking about doing." But again, you're kind of shaky and kind of squeamish because you're fragile.
Yep.
Sure.
You're fragile.
Well, speaking of
who do
fragile,
we have now?
I'm aligned with this right now.
What line?
And,
Line
my
one.
God, you know what? I'm actually embarrassed we're putting this cast of characters in front of
no.
Jana.
What do you mean? He needs help.
Who is this?
It's Mike B.
Oh my God! Hold on.
Hey.
Hey, baby.
Mike B's been a listener of ours and a BDM for years.
Yeah, he's
I
been
love it.
and he's been a friend of ours. We love this guy.
Yeah, he's been on cruises, been on the show.
He's party crazemo.
And he recently left us a series of voicemails.
And here, I'll give Jana.
Okay, yeah.
Oh, yeah, give me-
We haven't
Jana.
even played the
Give
whole
me a
one.
No, we
sample.
haven't.
Yeah,
So here's a Mike B. I'll just go. I'll pot you down. Here's a little bit. I'm just gonna give you a little taste of how Mike B. calls into the show. So
Okay.
here he is.
You know what?
What?
Mike B from the Radio Show.
Oh my God.
Mike,
Now, how many drinks had you had at that point, Mike?
yeah. What are you doing?
I mean, that's kind of
Oh, you
it's a
sound much
symptom
better.
of what what is kind of going with the job. But yeah, I like to have a couple of drinks here and there.
I also like how
cough.
now
You got blacked out drunk.
I also,
symptom.
I like how now he's like, and he took it. He's like, I gotta make every word snappy. I gotta take my voice up, so I don't sound like this right here. Oh, here it is.
You know what? Mike B from the Ono Radio Show.
Now, what he said
That's
there was
a ringing endorsement for the Ono Radio Show. I'm sure.
I have to give that to Owen, right? I have to give that. Owen needs that as the new commercial for Ono Radio.
God damn it!
It goes like an I had this allergy from alcohol, and it caused me to talk slur crazy. So now we still haven't played the rest of that voicemail. We have no idea.
There's 4 of them.
Do you even remember calling in, Mike B?
I remember sending one voicemail.
No, 4.
And I think there was I think even that one was kind of slurry.
But you do bring it back. You do.
No.
What's funny is that I think the more he talks, the better he gets. Here's the second one. He's a little bit better.
Hey guys, Mike B here from the Ono Radio Show.
See, he's trying to hold it together.
Yeah, he slapped his face a little bit.
Yeah, that one you could already tell he got up, got another drink, but he also slapped his cheeks.
It's like you turn your lawnmower on, and then your choke is still on. Then you turn the choke on. You turn the choke off, your pressure washer, you can talk.
Jana was slapping her cheeks to see if it worked.
So, all right, Mike B, so you are thinking about changing your career?
I mean, it's just I've been a manager of a restaurant for like almost 3 years now.
Yeah,
and I've made it all the way to the top. I was a GM, and
that's huge.
I hated it. It was awful.
So did my dad. My dad worked his way up to the top, got the big position, hated it, immediately went back down. He's like, I can't do this. I hate it. I hate it.
Is it the situation, I've heard this a lot, where you get into a career, a job, you like the job, and then you do well, and then they start giving you promotions, and you're like, all right, I should take every promotion. Why wouldn't I? We're basically trained from society, like, oh, if
say yes.
Yeah, if you give you a promotion, of course you're going to take it. It's it's like a gift. So you start taking promotions, but then your original job changes.
You know what?
Mike, please relax. Tom's trying to make a point.
And then you end up doing something that is totally different than your original job, and you hate it. And you're like, I don't want to be a manager. I want to be a salesperson. Like, I've heard this from a car salesman too. Like, they like selling cars, and they thought like, okay, I'll get up to a general manager. And then when they become general manager, they hate it. They're like, I like selling cars, but I hate managing people.
It's just not fun after a while. You don't want to do that.
You know what?
Okay, all right, settle down.
Well, I mean, some of it I think is just part of it is probably where I work. It's just a bunch of kids, and so it's more babysitting than anything.
Also, I would say to add to pile on to what you're saying, that place hops too. The place that you're at, like it's
busy.
It's always busy. It's and everybody wants everything made to order. Everybody, like, I was in there with my family, and man, oh man, and I was watching the 2 ladies they had on the floor and the manager, and they were just going the whole time. It looked very, very difficult.
It's a hustle, and being in the restaurant industry
very difficult.
It can wear on you, especially as you age too. It's more of a young man's game.
Jana, what do you think? You think maybe he should
slow down there, old man Tom? Cool it. I'm not as old as you.
Well, I know you're not.
Don't let him disrespect you like that, Tom.
But you're too old for the nose ring, Mike.
I
gotta tell you. You still got it.
Even I made my wife take her belly button ring out, and she loved it. And
really?
I'm like, I was like,
I wear my septum with pride.
Yeah, I told my wife.
I know you do.
I was like, you're having a baby.
Doesn't make it better.
Really?
Yeah, I told her, you got to take that out. I like every time you're on top of me, I'm looking at it. I can't even I can't keep an erection.
I was just telling the story the other day. When I met my husband, he had nipple rings.
Whoa!
Whoa!
Jason had nipple rings.
Jana Banana.
Weirdo.
And one day he was going into the shower, and he like cut the shower too short, and his nipple sliced off.
Oh no!
my God.
He pulled his nipple off?
And he came out and he was like,
That took a fucking turn.
And I was more concerned about his nipple going down the drain.
Oh, fucking A, Jana Banana.
I went straight to the drain because I was thinking that it was like your tooth, like if you just put it in milk and take it to the emergency room, then maybe they could sew it back on.
Or like at the tip of your finger, right? So is he missing a nipple?
Yeah, it kind of grew back though. It kind of like it's deformed. It's
That's the worst kind.
It's going to be like your toes.
You should have told me this, because every time now I see him, I'm going to look straight at his nipples to see if I can see it through the, sometimes you can see your nipple through your shirt.
I'm definitely gonna look to see like if it's weird now.
You know what?
Okay.
So you hear that, Mike B? Your nose ring is a GD hazard. You're gonna rip your nose off in the shower.
I'm honestly scared anytime I drink soda from a can that it's gonna loop around the tab and I'm gonna rip it out of my face.
Oh my God!
I totally get that fear because when I wear hoop earrings, I hate being around babies.
Yeah.
Because I always think they're going to pull my earrings out.
I didn't know what you were meaning by that, but I get it now. Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Also, Mike, you got a mustache too, so you got to choose one of the other two because the mustache and the nose ring.
It's like the beginning. It's like the beginning of any video game where you get to pick an initial
the
weapon.
Avatar.
You can't have the nose ring and the mustache as a weapon. You got to pick one. You got to go like, I'm either gonna wield this nose ring or I'm gonna wield this mustache. I don't get both. If I level up, then maybe I can dual wield, but I'm not there yet.
You know what? Daniel just said level up. And so I'm thinking that might be a sign that maybe it's time for you to level up your career.
So,
there you go.
I mean,
you know what? I thought he was going to really authentically do it there.
So you got some years of management experience in the restaurant industry.
And he's good at it.
Are you looking to get completely out of the food and beverage deal?
I mean, I think what I've been mulling over lately is just going back to being a cook. I love that. I've always done that, and it's always been enjoyable. The problem is there's just zero money in it.
Yeah.
I mean, not comparable money. I would quit and then go through a lot of hardship just to get back to anywhere close to where I'm at now.
That's the scariest part.
Yeah.
That is the scariest part.
Because you get locked. You almost get dependent upon the job. I know I was. I can speak from experience. Like when I left, I was making a decent salary. I was making, what was my base? 52?
Something like that, yeah.
I think. And I mean, that's nothing to sneeze at. I mean, when you
promotions
but also
and
stuff, when you think been there 12 years, 52, you're kind of like,
right.
Wait a minute. Yeah, thank you. Exactly right.
Oh, and Mike B says it's an extra.
You only make
nose ring mustache.
He gave me the dual wield too.
But I think, and I mean, I would have to sit down with you and really talk to you about your expertise.
Oh, don't.
But I think you might be thinking small because if you
it's
really,
a huge nose ring.
If you really want to be a cook or a chef, there's so many creative ways to make money these days. There's master classes that you can put together and put out on the internet, and they make money pretty much on their own.
Yeah.
And then that way you can still be a cook and have your master class teaching people how to cook, or you can become a manager and teach others how to manage. Like there's skills. I'm telling you, the more, even with myself, I'm realizing that there's money all around me that's like literally dangling, and I just
I put that there for you.
We dangled money.
I was hoping you would. I was hoping you'd stay if I used fishing line to hang money around you. Okay, so with Mike B, all those in favor of NASCAR drivers, say aye. All right.
Yeah.
That's two NASCARs.
I really like right turns though.
That's two NASCARs. You know what you should be doing, Mike B, might be right under your nose. Selling jewelry.
What about a hot topic?
Yeah. How about piercing? How about piercing people?
Piercing pagoda? Is that still a thing?
Yeah. You could. I would let you give my daughter her first earrings.
Yeah. This guy knows he's got a nose ring.
You could pierce my husband.
Yeah, you could trust him.
You could pierce his nipple.
He's 38 and he's got a nose ring.
I was also thinking maybe sign spinner, because it does kind of lend to like all my things I like doing, which is like being high and drunk.
Okay.
You can do both of those pretty much all the time.
Fucking honesty.
I think Jana just realized she can't help you.
Jana's slapping her cheeks again.
I mean, I forgot to mention the email, Jana. This is all we're not helping any of our listeners. Really, there's no helping it. Mike B cannot be helped.
I can teach you a few tricks.
I mean, a lot of it was just like it leaves me no time to spend with my wife, and I think that's the biggest killer right now.
Oh, that makes me sad.
Maybe she could sign spin with you.
Yeah, you can sign spin together. I don't think anybody's ever done that. I think the reason nobody's done that.
A couple that sign spins together stays.
Sure.
All right, Mike B.
Or you could be homeless
we
together.
just told Mike B to quit his job to be a sign spinner. I don't know that this is doing any good.
Technically, Jana did. Not us. We already know where Mike B's going.
I'm gonna give you the Braveheart. Hold. Don't do anything yet.
Don't do anything crazy.
Don't put the spears up yet, Mike. Just wait. Wait until that. You
I
finally
just did it. I signed the deal. I'm taking my talent to cardboard. Here we go.
Don't do it, Mike.
You're like, does that sign spinner have a nose ring nail? All right, so.
Shit! I just chopped my mustache off with a side.
All right, we're gonna play. Hold on, play Mike B's whole drunk. I want to see what
God.
you. I'm gonna have you on the line while we hear what you said. Blacked out drunk.
He cleans it up. He cleans it up.
Is this like a mock intervention?
No, this is all the whole show. Jana's in here.
Well, it's not a mock intervention because the real intervention didn't work. All right, here we go.
You know what? Mike B from the radio show.
The clarity of the voice, dude. It's really good.
There were no syllables in that whole sentence.
It's Mike B. I'm sure Owen loves the fact that he didn't just say Mike B here instead of Mike B from the Ono radio show.
All right, what else?
I usually keep my mouth shut about restaurant business.
Uh-oh.
But if you want to ask my front house employees for me to come out when I'm trying to hang and clean up the kitchen to get it prepped for tomorrow, when you're here after close and you want to complain about people cleaning up around you because you're here eating after close.
Oh, well. Mike, I can't even listen to it.
Can't even get through it all. Can't even get through it all.
Although
it's bad.
It had to do with your job, and it seems like
he stays on topic.
Yeah.
He stays on topic.
So I do think
I love me some Mike B.
You should take a page from Jana and just start doing something to move in a different direction, if that is truly what you want to do. But I feel like everybody kind of gets burned out in the restaurant industry. My friends
I
too.
do too. And it sounded to me like your gut was telling you again that it was time to move on. Glinda the Good Witch always says, "You knew it all along."
Oh yeah, she does.
Yes.
You knew it all along.
Yes.
Did she say anything about nose rings? I feel like she would. Be like,
and you should probably take out your nose ring. You're damn near 40.
Your mustache is too long.
You should pick one of the other, either a nose ring or a moustache.
Usually people end up in the career that they're supposed to be at. They end up doing something that they loved to do between the ages of 7 and 14.
So
if you look back at the age when you're a kid, what did you love to do when you were 7 to 14? That's probably the direction you should go.
Because it's the most pure, right? It's like
Ninja Turtle.
Butler.
Oh, there it is.
How did we get Mike B to appear in the studio? That's amazing. You are literally British Mike B. All
Butler says Ninja Turtle,
and he was dead serious.
Donatello.
I'm Donatello.
You can come dressed as Donatello if you want. That's fine. Oh, your shell opens up and put your business paper.
You know, I knew I'm gonna say something to you, buddy.
Oh, yeah.
I knew I would be, but I didn't know I'd be quite this embarrassed in front of Jana.
I know.
To show her what we actually do on Fridays, and this is like our
I
job.
love this. I'm having a
It's a little
blast.
made me a little uncomfortable.
We do need to take a break.
Yeah, we do.
And,
I love it.
And Jana, you can stick around if you want, because
Please.
when we come back, Speaking, today is kind of way more positivity than we ever are used to.
I'm actually having a good time.
I can negative it down.
No.
I'll do that. I'll ramp it up next segment.
When we come back from break, we're going to talk to a BDM that actually had a seizure, drove into a retention pond, and someone jumped into the pond and saved her life. Yeah. It was on the news. It happened down south, and we're going to talk to her and the person that saved her life and see, I watched the video, and it's crazy.
We're going to do one of those things where we, reconnect people.
I know.
And then later in the show, we're going to bring in a soldier. Well, actually, we're bringing a child, and then have his father come back from Afghanistan.
When do we do the
next?
shot?
And then Mike B will come in.
You know what? Your dad's not a real hero.
We got one last person to help with their career change on.
All right, you want to do it quick?
Line one, Josh.
All right, line one. Josh, welcome to the program. Welcome to Mike B's You Know What.
What do you do, Josh?
I'm kind of in a lot of different pots, but full-time is photo editing.
Well, we know you don't sell cell phones for a living.
So you're a full-time photo editor?
Yeah.
All right. What do you work for a corporation or is it
freelance?
Freelance.
No, it's a big corporation.
Oh, okay.
I don't know if I'm allowed to say, but basically they have a huge inventory of movie memorabilia and props. So a lot of the stuff is I'm editing for either ads or auctions or just cataloging. Hello?
I say we drink to that.
Yeah. His cell phone connection was too bad. We gotta deal with that.
Sorry, buddy.
All right, Butler, what do you got?
Okay, I just smelled it. Okay, ready? 3, 2, 1.
Wait, we got a toast.
Okay. So hold on. Let me give you your echo.
Here's to the men whom we love. No, I don't know.
Here we go.
All right, cheers to wizards and robes. What? Let me start this over.
No, Mike B, you cannot start it over.
Cheers to wizard robes and red eyes. Tom's kids are now Jedi, so buy at my toys. The dark side is won. Next stop, MegaCon, so set your vape guns to stun.
Don't
set your vape gun to
Nerd toast.
It was a nerd toast. I fucked that one up.
Mike B, if you're listening, can you do basic Photoshop and some calls?
What?
Give me some Dukes.
What are you trying to slide in, Mike B?
I was saying, I can't save your nose ring though. You're gonna have to.
Yeah, what if you had two? You have Mike A and Mike B.
All right,
you're gonna have two of them.
Let's take a break. When we come back, we're gonna talk to the BDM who.
I'm sorry,
got their
strong.
Got their life saved.
My God, we killed Jana Banana.
We should have given
Why
Jana water.
Why did you give her a mega shot?
I've never been able to shoot.
Yeah.
Shoot shots. Is that how you say it?
Yeah.
You told me to give her the moonshine.
Like the party. We should have gave her the water like we do.
Don't talk about it. Hey, do you guys remember the band Archers of Loaf? Does anybody remember Archers of Loaf? I mean, talk about indie rock. Formed in 1991. They have new music out for the first time in a very long time. This is the single called Raleigh Days. They're Carolina guys. We'll be right back.
Woo!
Saw about 2 feet of water above the trunk on my car and thought, wow, that's a really crappy day for somebody. Because it didn't even sink in that it was my car.
So you had total blackout during your seizure, and you had not had seizures in a long time, right? This was the first time in a long time?
It's been 2 years. I had pneumonia a few years ago, and that triggered one. Before that, it was probably about 5 or 6 years.
So this came on totally out of nowhere?
Oh, yeah. No warning whatsoever. I was driving down the road. I just finished a meeting at work. Was thinking, I got to stop by Publix. I'm going to pick up some lunch. And that's the last thing I remember until I came to on the bank.
So we have the person that actually jumped in and saved you that day, Shawn. And I know this has been on the news, and you guys recently
national news.
Yeah, national news, and let's talk about that real quick. How many different news agencies reached out to you about this?
Oh my goodness! I had people reaching out to me when I was still in the hospital.
And you did what like news organizations did you work with, and what was the national story on?
Inside Edition got a hold of me. Sun Sentinel down here in South Florida. CNN. Tonight we actually meet, we're doing the Anderson Cooper show.
Really?
Or at least the taping for it, yeah.
So, obviously, I mean, and when you see the video, and you, obviously, Molly, you watched the video, correct?
No, I won't watch the video. I saw everybody else's reaction, and I don't think I can handle it.
Right. That would make sense to me, yeah.
Now,
I can't find the video for some reason. I have to.
Really?
Yeah, if you can find it, Sam, send it over to me, thanks.
We have Shawn on the line. Shawn, are you there?
Yes, sir.
So, and Shawn, in the video, tell us your recollection of that day first, because we all watched the video and it was amazing, but what happened and, like, what made you jump in the water?
I'm driving home with my boys in the truck, and from the back seat, I heard my son say, "Dad, there's a car floating." I wanted to see it, so I turned down the street. Sure enough, there was a car floating. There were a bunch of people on the side of the canal with their phones in their hands. So I drove around the cars, drove over the curb, and right up next to the canal. When I opened my door, I asked the people if there was someone in the car. When I heard yes, I pulled off my pants and dove in.
That's crazy. So you didn't even see it. Your
Good
kids
for you.
saw
I
it.
love the people just
Wow.
holding their phones out. I'm
disgusting.
hoping they were holding it out to call 911.
So, hold on. We got some dual heroes. Shawn's kids are actually...
Yeah, they're the hero.
Yeah, they never said anything. Shawn would have never... Also, by the way...
What an observant youngster in your car. I mean, good Lord.
Yes, sir.
Do we
well done, kid.
Do we now live in a society where people just bring their phones out and videotape the horrible things that are happening instead of doing anything about it?
Like I said, I hope they were calling 911 and not holding it sideways and videoing the car.
So, Shawn...
There were some people calling 911, but there were some people videoing.
Gross.
Yeah.
That's just gross, man.
And so, Shawn, I did notice, because we're super happy everybody was okay, and when we heard Molly was a BDM, we were like, oh my God, thank God she got out of the car.
Yeah.
Thank God you were there. But I did laugh a little bit that you took your pants off before you jumped in the water, and you were you're a good-looking dude.
You gotta drive home in soggy pants.
And
you ever try to swim with sweatpants?
Yeah.
Oh, sweatpants. Oh, sweatpants. Okay.
Samantha
So
did mention.
so obviously you and your son were leaving the strip club.
So you're right, because Samantha did mention, because look, did he take his pants off before he jumped in? Like, who would have the forethought to do that? And Samantha's like, well, maybe he was wearing pants that would have
Heavy,
been cumbersome to swim in, and you were sweatpants. So when you got up to the car, you saw Molly inside, and she was still having the seizure, correct?
Yeah, she wasn't responding. I tried to get her attention, and she was laid over on her side, basically out.
And the car was just floating. You could tell.
Yeah, I've got the video up now for people watching on Twitch.
Yeah.
Twitch.tv/TomandDanLive. You can kind of watch along as you guys are describing it.
And when you got to the car like literally was buoyant. And usually cars are only buoyant for a small period of time until they start filling with water, and because they're not airtight, obviously. So we're watching the video right now. You climbed in through the passenger window. And
yeah, Molly, do not watch this because it's triggering me a touch.
And Shawn, that's when
I can imagine.
Yeah, it's a little. Not that I'm a delicate flower, but holy shit, man! Good Lord.
So you climbed into the passenger window. Now you're inside. So what are you doing now while you're inside the floating car?
I'm straightening her up, got her driver's side window down, and got her seatbelt off of her, and told Adam he's going out that window.
Gotcha. And then so now the car starts going under. You push her out of the driver's side window, and you have to literally underwater go out through the passenger side window, but the car is almost totally submerged. So if you hadn't have been there at that exact time and pushed her out, she would have definitely drowned, correct?
I assume so. I can't tell the future, but I did my best to save her.
Yeah, dude, she was still seizing. If someone didn't get her out,
she's unconscious.
I mean,
she would have drowned.
This is
it's a miracle.
It's
insane.
You 100% saved Molly's life, and I did like your Facebook post when you put up the news story. You're like, just saving lives. Like,
what I do, bro.
And
it's what I do, bro.
And so after when you got Molly out and you got her to the bank, and what were you thinking, Shawn? Like, I
don't know why you would need money right after seizing, but
I was in awe. It was an intense situation. Really, it was cold, and I just wanted like a Bud Light to pair with. It was cold in that water.
Mm-hmm.
Gotta get the sweatpants back on.
And
well, luckily they were dry because he's a smart MF.
And Shawn, were your kids watching from the car?
Yes, sir. When you listen to the video, you can hear my boys. They're the ones that are screaming for me to get out the car, get out. It's an intense video. But like I said, I'm glad that she's made it out safe and that we're all able to move on another day.
I mean, I'd play it, but for the respect of Molly, I'm just not going to do that.
So
I appreciate that.
Yeah, no, I just, look, you've been through a lot. We'll watch it on our own time, but yeah, we found it from Fox 35.
So when after this whole incident happens, like obviously they take Molly to the hospital, and then do you just get back in your car and drive home? Like, I mean,
no way.
Hard. Like, what do you do? Like,
stop by Publix, get a Mama Celeste, call it a night.
Yeah, what happened?
I planned on doing some jobs and finishing work, but I was so pumped up. I got a few calls. I made it home, and my friends were all waiting there with a bottle of whiskey for me.
Yeah.
Good deal.
And
that's awesome, man.
So, Molly, for me, I've always thought about this like because it's a weird situation when someone saves someone's life. I've talked to my buddy Joe. He's a paramedic firefighter, Porno Joe. And he saved some people's lives, and a couple of people like have gone and found him because they requested, like, who was a firefighter that gave me like
resuscitation,
or like pulled me out of the car or whatever, and he, like, they want to meet the person, and he says it's always kind of awkward because you're like, oh, how you doing?
Hey,
and they're
how
like,
you doing? Hey,
they're super thankful.
Hey,
Like,
you know,
thank you.
I saved your life.
He's always like, I'm just doing my job. Yeah, that's what I do. I have to do the, and then the person's like, no, but you are the reason I'm alive. Like, I owe everything to you.
All right, well, give me all your money.
So, and you guys got to meet after this incident, correct?
Yes, sir.
We did. We ended up meeting. There were a couple of different news stations that wanted to meet up at the accident site, and we ended up meeting, and I finally got to give him a great big hug. My husband got to shake his hand, stuff like that.
Well, beyond that, Tom and Dan and all of our listeners chipped in, and we're going to send both of you guys to the Build-A-Bear Workshop. We got $25 gift cards to Build-A-Bear Workshop.
Yeah,
we're going to let you go
for the
in.
whole bear.
Yeah, it won't, but it'll at least get the stuffing in it. And we're going to send you both to Build-A-Bear Workshop. It's at the West Oaks Mall.
Yeah.
You
might have to save your own life. That place.
And
you can't get some more sweatpants there, though.
Yeah.
And get them airbrush.
Yeah, you can't. And
I'm like, this bear's got a Tupac bandana.
Don't talk about it.
So, Molly, so what do you say to Shawn? Like, I mean, I know you give him a hug, but like, was it awkward at all? You're like, hey, thanks for saving my life. And you're like, you like olive oil? Olive oil?
You like olive oil?
No, I'm just saying, what do you do? Like, because
take him out to dinner.
Well, apparently you go and you get the tour of Italy.
Because technically, you owe Shawn your life. If this was Game of Thrones,
you're
you'd be
his
indebted.
slave now.
I think you're indebted to him your entire life.
Yeah.
You're like,
in the old days,
that's it?
in the old days, we would have put a chain around your neck and you just follow behind my wagon until I get to the next town that I'm going to scam out of all their riches.
Or you have to save Shawn's life to make it even, right?
Yeah.
So
we need to.
At least ceremoniously, Shawn needs to, like, we'll push a fake car into a retention
the
pond.
Water, and then
Molly,
you swim in, you pull me out.
Yeah, and then it's even Steven.
Yeah.
Then you can both go on with your lives. But now...
But then you have to never see each other ever again.
No.
Never talk about it.
Shawn,
I don't think I have the cojones to do it. I don't think I could do anything close to what he did.
Women don't use the term cojones.
It's South Florida.
Yeah.
This is West Palm Beach.
She said that, I was like, yeah.
And this, it's a South Miami or South Florida thing.
Cojones.
So, now, Shawn, did you? Because even when someone's loses a cat, they give you a reward when you find it, right? It's like a couple $100.
Couple $100? Are you crazy?
A gift card or something.
Free coffee.
So, Shawn, did you were like, hey, did the news agencies give you any money for the interview or anything like that? Have you able to monetize this in any way?
He didn't do it for money,
No,
Tom.
sir. I did it all for free. I didn't do it for any monetary value. I gave out all the information and video links. I did it just because that's the good thing to do.
Do you have?
He's a good person, Tom.
So you don't have a T-shirt that says "Just saving lives"? You know.
I know, if you had one, I'd buy it.
Yeah, I'd buy it too.
Just, I'm kind of going out tonight, and I'm going to laminate the front paper of the Sun Sentinel where I'm on the cover, and that's what I'm using tonight as my gameplay.
Oh,
yeah.
You're a single
There you
man,
go.
Shawn?
Yeah, I like that.
Yes, sir. Single dad.
Dude, do a calendar shooting those sweatpants.
Oh, yeah.
Somebody getting that dick wet.
I've seen
Am I
you
allowed
in
to
your
say
boxers.
that?
You're a good-looking man, Shawn.
yeah.
We've seen the wet boxers.
Yeah, you got some nice, strong legs.
I'd fucking put some dry sweatpants on you.
But you're right.
Thank you.
I feel like you should be slaying it. You're a
Yeah.
single dad saving lives. Like, you need a T-shirt for sure. You know what? We'll make a call to Enemy and get Danger Brain to make you a logo. You should be selling shirts. Be like,
Just saving lives, bro.
look up ShawnSavesLives.com.
Okay. so you are all about marketing.
Shawn, can I be your manager? I know a little bit about the entertainment business, but
how about we pretend my jeans are a sinking car, and why don't you pull my dick out the zipper hole?
we come out with Shawn Saves Lives sweatpants, and anybody can take
I'd buy
off.
a pair.
I'd buy a
They
pair.
rip off at any time, so you can immediately jump.
Snap off sweatpants?
Yeah,
like NBA style.
And instead of like pink on the ass, it was like Shawn Saves
Oh,
Lives.
we could bring them on the cruise.
Yeah.
Lots of ladies on the cruise.
That's too expensive.
Also, if anybody falls
We get a
over,
sponsor.
Well, we sell sweatpants. Fund his cruise.
somebody falls overboard.
Oh, yeah,
I'm not
there's
jumping
like-
in.
Yeah,
but
Shawn
Shawn,
will.
get your sweatpants.
I'm no Shawn. I know my place. I'll be at the slot machines.
So, I mean, this really happens very rarely, once in a lifetime opportunity to actually save someone's life. And we did.
Shawn, have you ever saved anybody else's life?
No, sir.
Yeah, I mean, you know how rare it is? Because sometimes,
I feel like I saved your life a little bit.
What do you mean?
Well, like just all this,
Well,
coattail ride. Well, I mean, what would you be doing? I am Shawn. Right?
You gotta take your pants off.
Yeah. Don't threaten me with a good time.
I wrote
Hot
it.
in here.
I wrote it from your house 2 blocks over to here. As far as it got me. Now we're staying steady for a while. In fact, I think I'll be riding it back one day.
You will.
So
also, I'm very small, so my coat is small. So the coat tail's very small.
Well, it's an amazing story, and
It
Molly,
really is.
we're glad you're
More
okay.
than anything, all jokes aside, we're just glad you're all right.
Yeah, and Shawn, we're glad that you had the balls and
Cojones.
the cojones to actually do something instead of pull out your cell phone and just videotape.
And he said, and look, I'll just say this one time.
What are people videotaping? Like,
BDM,
this girl's dying. I'm gonna videotape it. What the
our
fuck?
listeners, like all of our listeners, so just listen. Don't do that. Don't be that person. Don't be videoing somebody else's trauma.
Do
if
something.
If you
can.
if you don't feel like you can act, then at least call the authorities,
911.
call 911, do whatever you got to do.
But
don't be that
don't
person,
videotape
man.
it.
Don't. God Almighty, that is sad.
We need to act more and.
What's the worst thing that's going to happen? You got to swim
How
a little bit
morbid
in some
is it
dirty
to
water.
videotape someone potentially dying?
It's great because people don't know what to do, and but
Shawn,
do something.
How did you not? Well, I mean, you're in the heat of the moment, but after everything's all said and done, if those people are still around, I'd be a cell phone thrown in the river, motherfucker. I'd be mad.
Yeah,
I was mad, but there were a bunch of cops there when I got out the water.
Yeah.
And you're like, I gotta get out of here.
I need to get out of there.
This saving lives, I heat up. I got a joint in my ashtray. Well, Shawn, we
and to your kid who was so observant. You guys are awesome. And Molly, we're so glad you're all right.
Yeah, and thank you guys for taking the time to, do our show when you're doing Inside Edition and all the biggest
Wait
ones.
a minute. I feel like we're a little higher than Inside Edition.
This interview, Shawn's going to be like, they talked about my sweatpants and wanted me to make money off of
I think you should make a calendar.
Yeah, you can do a calendar, but just of sweatpants.
Sweatpants and wet boxer briefs.
Sweat and wet.
Yeah, exactly.
Guys, it was great talking to you. And Molly, we're glad you're okay. And if you're ever up in near Orlando, please come by the studio.
Absolutely.
Will
Thank you
do.
so much.
All right, guys. Take care. Have a great weekend.
Thank you very much.
See ya.
Peace.
He was so polite.
I know.
too.
Yeah. Well, he
Saves
does
lives
not.
and he's polite.
Yeah. It's it is amazing though. Like we live.
God, that was boring.
We live in.
Oh my God, is my mic on? I'm sorry. I'm kidding.
Well, we live
I'm
in
joking.
We live in a society where everybody's quick to pull their phone out and start videotaping
I hate
instead
that.
of doing something.
I hate that.
Like
Was Shawn a BDM?
No,
he was just a random guy.
We should have pitched him on the $1.95.
Like it's only
now you're thinking like a real
there's a sales guy I hired.
We could have made him an honorary.
You know what?
Not an honorary.
Your first ever pizza party. That was good, Butler.
We're like,
Good luck with that.
we'll give you the first month free, but it'll auto, charge you unless you
eventually go to $10.95.
Yeah, and it's
all the way up.
It's hard.
Hey, that's a good idea. So you start at one. You start at the lowest level.
Oh, yeah, each
and then
month.
each month, whether you want it or not, it just starts taking more money out.
And we're like Planet Fitness. If you want to cancel, you have to come into the studio, and then you have to sit.
Yeah.
You have to sit
Yeah.
in front of my
And be
desk.
shamed.
You have to fill out a paperwork and submit it to
I'm
me.
like,
I have to
welcome to
review and
Planet
approve.
Shitness. Come on in, sit here.
And I'm never available. They're like, I'd like to cancel Tuesday. And I'm like, sorry, all booked up.
But you know what? You know how I get you?
I'm
You're-
available Christmas Eve.
You're sitting on the couch a long time, and you know what gets you is there's a bucket of Tootsie Rolls out there. And you're like, oh, that's pretty good. I like these Tootsie Rolls. That's a pretty good Tootsie Roll.
And they got a free tanning.
Do they?
Wait,
Mine doesn't have tanning.
I'm gonna tan my morbidly obese buddy. I was told if you're gonna be fat, you got to be tan.
Yeah, that's what Bo said.
Yeah, which is not true.
Yeah,
actually.
he looks
Good advice.
amazing.
He didn't take his own advice. Pale.
Looking great. Well done.
Man,
fucking, I have laughed a lot today. My cheeks hurt. My chest hurts.
Because it is hard to make that decision. Because I feel like if you're in that situation, you're like waiting for someone else to do.
No.
I think it's human nature for everyone.
I
to
think
like,
I would
hey,
go.
is who we're
Because
gonna-
you could potentially be in danger too, you know.
I
So
honestly
that's-
feel like
it's
I would
hard
go
to-
in that scenario. I honestly feel like I would just go. Like, and I'm not trying to say that to think I'm like a badass or something, but like the phone thing would make me so mad that I would have to go because I'd be like, well, nobody's gonna do anything.
Right.
I dragged a drunk dude out of a burning car one time. Like he
Of
hit,
course you did.
He hit,
Ladies and gentlemen, Stephen Kramer.
Yeah, Butler has a story for everything.
He hit a lady and going hauling ass. It was in Cocoa Beach, and he hit her. And we like a mile down the road, like his car was coasting and it hit a wall. And me and my buddy turned around, ran, dragged, pulled him out. And when we had to pull him through like a bunch of cactus on accident, but we had to pull him out of the starting car.
It's an accidental cactus full of king.
He was a drunk guy.
We had to drag him over these hot coals by accident.
When Butler saves your life, you drive him through cactus, hot coals.
I saved him though.
Like who said
his car caught on fire?
He's like, just fucking leave me, God.
You're like, my feet are burning. Like the fire was small in the battery compartment. It would have
And
been fine.
because he's so stony baloney, he's going really slow. Like, God damn it.
Ah, my cactus! Like, why did he have to be here to save my life? Could have been, what is his name, Shawn. And he's got his pants on.
I took my pants off when I pulled that.
Oh, okay.
God. All right, so, okay, let's
my God.
Let's take a quick break. When we come back, let's do some voicemails, some emails. If I remember trying to find like some BDM that saved. Remember we put that
we
thing.
did one, yeah.
And it's rare to actually legitimately save someone's life. Way more with have you ever got a gun pulled on you? Remember we did that? We had 30 emails. We're like, I got gun. Saving lives is definitely.
I thought you were
rare.
saying, do you do any of our listeners have a gun?
Got a lot of emails about that too.
You're like, I got nothing. I'm like, really?
We're doing Gunt Tuesday, so send us an email.
Old Gun Tuesday.
Oh,
who's got the biggest gun?
We're gonna throw bologna at it like Howard Stern.
Wait,
We're going full 90s.
You throw bologna at the
That's
gun?
a gun?
Yeah,
I've
yeah.
never heard that. Is that a thing?
Well, you know, just the 90s.
No
and
bologna
they-
at anything, but I mean, like,
Yeah.
I never. It feels extra disrespectful to throw it at a gun. I'm the voice of reason. I'm like, yo, guys, we can do Gun Fest, but we can't throw bologna at the guns. It's too far.
then we'll get Mike Peony or nose ring.
Yeah.
We'll throw bologna at that. Then Shawn will come in, no pants.
Throw bologna at that.
The Cadillac Pat,
Then,
dressed in 90s. Oh, man. All right.
All right, let's do it. This is a band called All My Friends Hate Me. The name of the song is 3 a.m., not to be confused with, the old Matchbox 20. We'll be right back. And that is Early Eyes. The name of the song is I'm Enough. I'm going to put that in my new yacht rock category. Super funky. That bass line is amazing. Yes, I was playing air bass. Welcome back to A Mediocre Time with Tom and Dan. I am Dan.
I am Tom.
Samantha, our producer's here. Butler is here. We have some listeners that are sitting in. Before we do anything else, let me hit you with some audio and some video of an old man who just wants a blowjob.
Do what? Suck my dick. I can't do that. I can change you. No, you ain't gonna change me. You don't want to be changed? No, but I want my dick to be sucked. You want to take your medicine? Huh? Your medicine? Medicine? No. You don't want to suck my dick. I have to change you. If you don't want to suck my dick, get out of here. Do you want coffee? No. Well, my dick sucks. I can't do that. Why? You know it's inappropriate? Yeah. So why are you saying it? I just wondered if you wanted to do it.
Is this me talking to my wife? Did someone put a voice changer on my conversation last night?
That came up on World Star yesterday.
I feel like that's fake.
Yeah, Butler said it was like 5 months ago or something like that.
Is it?
But it popped up. I started cracking up, man. I'd never seen it before.
So that is an old man at a retirement home asking the nurse
to suck his dick. Yeah.
Now,
at least he didn't go full racist like my grandparents did.
Yeah.
You know?
Have you?
Jesus Christ.
Have you? I know
Enough is
Daniel
enough.
has, but have you guys been to retirement home?
No.
It is. Travis, you've been.
Oh, sorry, Trav. There you go, buddy.
Not to sound like Kramer, but my mother-in-law
Here he
used to
goes.
own a retirement, a hospice, like a retirement community. So yeah.
Oh, that's the ones that are dying.
Yeah. It was called Close to Home. So it was like
Yeah,
a large rancher, and like people came there and lived the
I would
last several
feel-
months of their life.
I would feel a little
Or
guilty
years.
knowing that the person sucking my dick is going to die soon. Like, I feel like I'm not heart.
Well, that guy wasn't living too much longer.
Travis's mother-in-law was like, hey, "Can you take this gentleman out to the cafeteria?" When he rolled, he's like, "No, you're rolling through the cactuses." Like, everybody, you trying to help you roll through cactuses. You're like, we're in Florida.
I just
Where
want
the
to
fuck
see
is a
Travis sitting
cactus?
there. Some old man asked him to suck his dick. He's covered in cactus needles.
I'm covered in cactus needles. You suck my dick.
I remember when my pop-up was when he broke his neck, he fell,
Yeah.
and then he had to be. It was like it's kind of like a retirement home /
Like
rehab
yeah.
center because sometimes there's a lot of like part-time guests there that rehabbing through an injury, and then sometimes there's people that have been there for years. And it was a place that the place wasn't bad and everybody there was nice, but it was depressing.
Yeah.
And there was an older lady there. I remember like standing next to the like lobby area, and she was like, "Help me get out of here." And I was like, "I'm sorry."
Yeah.
Like, and I was like, and then she's like, "Hey, take me with you." And I'm like, "I'm sorry."
Like some lady
and
pulled
she-
her whole bed down the hallway to like I was playing checkers in my pop-up. And she pulled herself down. She's like, Mom, they won't give me my food. And he's like, go back to your own room, you old bitch. It was just like a really sad place.
And you know what happens is like these people are taken out of their normal routine. And you put them in like not their house in this place they don't know, and then like immediately it's like dementia sets in, or like they start losing because they're not in the only thing keeping them together was their routine. And as long as they had their routine, like the get up, the breakfast, and their own house and stuff, they were fine. And as soon as you took them out of that, you're like, oh my God, this person's lost their mind, and it's because now they're out of the routine, they're confused, and you know, we've heard horror stories about retirement homes and
they
stuff.
Always smell like pee-pee.
Here's the other side of it. The people who work there, man, they're angels.
They are.
I mean, some of them have been bad in like
well, the ones that rape their guests.
They're
the raping angels.
But
but still angels nonetheless.
But for everybody else that you know, tries to do a good job, they have a tough job that I don't know who would want to do because a lot of the people you're dealing with you know, have dementia or on the final stages of life,
it's kind of sad.
Or a racist.
I mean, if you weren't taking advantage of them, would it be possible to go in there with good intentions and wanting to do well for them? And again, not taking advantage, but like just be a good person and then try to have them like sign over some of their riches.
Yeah. Like,
I'm not going to make them sign.
Yeah.
But if they
you
offer,
suggest it.
Well, I don't even think I would suggest, but I'm going to do so much good for you.
Right.
You're going to, I mean, if you don't sign over riches, then I'm not doing my job. That's the way I look at it.
We do have a BDM on the line that wants to talk to you guys.
All right, what line?
Line 1, Bernadette.
All right.
Hey, you guys know Bernadette.
Bernadette, what's it?
Hey guys, hey. I just wanted to give a quick shout out and a quick call. I've shared it in the BDM page, and the chicks have been amazing, by the way. But my husband was diagnosed with brain cancer a couple weeks ago.
Yes, ma'am. I saw this.
And yeah, it was a little bit of a to feed into Dan's hypochondria.
Oh, yeah.
He had a headache, and we went and saw the doctor, and he had a brain tumor.
Yeah.
So,
wow.
Yeah,
I've got that now.
Yeah. You shouldn't have told Dan.
Oh, I can feel it. I can feel it coming.
He's going to the doctor after
coming
this.
to get me. Will you suck my dick?
I know, just to feed into all of it, all the fear. He legit had a headache for 3 days, and I was like, I can't take it anymore. We're going to go see a doctor. And 48 hours later, we were having surgery. So a little bit of a whirlwind.
Yeah, and I saw you guys like immediately. Well, not necessarily immediately following, but I saw you later, and I'm like, holy shit, what a tough motherfucker. He looks amazing.
Yeah, he's a true Viking in all the spirits, right?
Yeah.
38 hours after he had 2 brain tumors the size of golf balls removed from his head, he was like, let me the F out of this hospital. I want to go home.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's a real man now.
Oh, yeah, for sure. He's got big old scars on both sides of his head, and he's rocking them out. He wants to, like, full faux hawk it until he's all finished, and
so
he's embracing me.
So is he cancer? Was it a cancer thing, a tumor thing? Like, what are we talking about?
Yeah, like
here?
what's the prognosis long term here?
So he has melanoma of the brain.
Okay.
So somehow the melanoma skin cancer that he had gotten somewhere, we're not real sure because we haven't been able to find that on his body with all the scans and tests.
Yeah.
Spread to his brain. And this is just where it got stuck. So he had a total of about 6 brain tumors that they found.
Wow.
Only 2 of them can be operated on. The others needed to be treated with radiation, which is what we did over the last 2 weeks. So he did 5 treatments over 2 weeks of radiation, and now we get a week off where he gets to kind of heal and relax, and he's actually up sleeping now because the radiation takes a lot out of him.
Yeah.
Now,
and then we go into immunotherapy for the rest of his life. So if he responds to the immunotherapy, we'll probably get a few more years. So that's what we're hoping for, is just a few more years where we can look for another cure, look for another operation, look for another something.
I've known, like, we had a friend in high school that had brain cancer, and she lives with it. She has to go get checked every year, but it's
I've got a friend as well it's been a lifelong
if you
thing.
respond to the radiation, and it can, it's not a terminal thing.
No.
It just depends on how you respond, and I know he's a tough, real man, and he's
and with you by his side,
yeah.
I mean, you'll do your due diligence and not let him stray the course.
And I know you guys have a ton of course, hospital bills and healthcare bills, and you started a GoFundMe, correct?
Yeah, we started a GoFundMe because it turns out that insurance really doesn't pay a lot.
Yeah. Well, there's all that's what people like.
They try to find
other
ways not to pay for stuff. That's kind of how it works.
Of course, and then there's and then what
Found
are you
that
going to do?
out last week.
This cost a couple $1,000s, but the insurance doesn't cover it. And what are you going to be like? I don't think so. You're going to do it. So where is that GoFundMe, and how can people donate to it? We know me and Daniel will put some money towards it today.
Yeah, it's on the BDM page, and it's in the Chicks page as well, and it's public, so anybody can share it. I can put it on I could put it on the Poro page too.
Please do. I'm not gonna do much. I don't know. No, put it on there though. Put it on there.
But I love everybody's been so supportive, and it's been so sweet, and like I said, the side chicks. I mean, they rallied like no other females in my life have ever rallied. Like they picked up everything, sent us stuff, sent us gift cards, sent me a care package so that I knew to take care of myself. And everybody's reached out and been really, really helpful. And in a moment of crisis where, we are here in Atlanta, Derek and I don't have family here. We have a lot of friends, but we don't have our moms and dads. We don't have our siblings. And you guys are an extended family to us. So those reach outs, those one-offs have really kind of kept us going over the last couple of weeks as we've been trying to
That's awesome.
figure out what we're supposed to do. So it's meant everything to us, and I've been showing him all the messages and what everybody's been saying, and I've tried to share as much as I can with the group because he means he loves you guys, and
we love
isn't
him.
in the group as much, but also, he thinks that you guys need to have Tom and Dan hospital gowns.
We will make one specifically for him.
Yeah. Well, that's happening now.
And if you ever need anything from us, just let us know. And thank you to all the side chicks and the BDMs who helped out.
They're the best.
It's you guys have really built this community around. This started off as something goofy that we're like, hey, let's start a subscription, and then the BDMs, you guys started calling yourself BDMs. We never
than that.
And then we're like, okay, and then you guys formed this great community. You're good to each other.
We're all stuck with each other now, I guess.
Yeah.
That's the way it's going to ride out.
And I truly feel like this is, when people talk about a sense of community and being part of something and being part of your community, I look at not really where I live, but the BDMs as that community.
Well, people ask me this all the time. They go, well, do you still like doing the show? Like, why do you do the show? This is why we do the show.
Yeah.
This is it.
Yeah.
Sense of community, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, like, being able to help.
We can't be there physically for Bernadette. They live in Georgia, so when she reached out to the side chicks, because she talked to us first before she posted anything in the regular BDM group, and, we wanted to do something.
Yeah, it was like 5 o'clock in the morning in the hospital, and I was like, I have to tell someone. I can trust my chicks.
You can.
So.
You can. And any lady that's a BDM that's not in that group, I mean, you owe it to yourself to jump in there. It's really, really good and positive. Well, we love you so much. If there's anything, else that we can do, you got to holler at us. Yeah. Please keep us informed of what's happening. And I guess you and I got to create a hospital gown.
Yep. And if any BDMs want to throw a couple bucks to Bernadette, that'll really help because, this is an expensive long-term thing, and any little bit helps always. So we
absolutely
we're thinking about you, Bernadette, and tell your old man that
give him a smooch,
that he's a real man and he could beat this thing. He's he's tougher than cancer.
Oh yeah, he's definitely on the mode of fight.
Yeah. Well, we love you, and give some love and have a great weekend. Okay.
You guys too. Thanks so much.
All right. Bye.
See ya.
Oh man, it's both heartwarming and heartbreaking. Yeah. And but
it's been an emotional episode.
It is.
It's a good one. I liked it. I like
Between
it.
Jana, Molly being saved, talking about Derek. brain cancer.
God, I wasn't able to get into my quota of cock jokes today.
I know.
You know what?
I'm gonna dock your
Make
pay.
up for it now.
Or are you gonna cock my pay? That's good.
That's only now you got 9 more to go.
At least a nickel off the bill.
Yeah. Let's do a couple email, couple voicemail. And,
I mean, do you want me to give you all the Mike B's? I mean, we
No,
get
no, okay, we're in with-
we get in with Mike B.
Okay. What's
all right?
We get the beginning of the second one.
Well, just because it's so great.
Gotta have some patience to listen to these.
Yeah, you gotta go
slow
with the
paced.
Okay. Here's the first one.
You know what? Mike B from the Owner Radio Show. I usually keep my mouth shut about restaurant business.
Okay, I'll fast forward.
Okay.
I'm gonna try and tell you 100% that we're just trying to close because we're already closed and you're here eating after we're closed.
Are you bitching about the customers?
Do you get what I'm trying to say here?
That's another great drop right there. That one, right here.
Eat a bag of dicks.
No, this one.
Oh.
No, this one.
Do you get what I'm trying to say here?
That's a good. Okay, so there's.
Did you get the video I tried to send you? Is that?
No, you get what I'm trying to say.
You get what I'm trying to say here.
Yeah, I understand.
Okay.
A mumble blackout.
I thought I did too, but that one.
Okay,
I'm the mumble whisperer. You mumble.
Yeah.
I could understand all mumble rappers. I know exactly.
Yeah.
It sounds clear to me.
Yeah.
I never understood why it was mumble rap. I was like, that's just rap, right?
Like we call him Little Yachty. Tom calls him Steven. You know, like he knows.
Yeah.
Like, okay, here's another Mike B.
Hey guys, Mike B here from the Ono Radio Show. I was listening to the episode where you interviewed that GM for a restaurant, and it just didn't seem all that interesting because I've been a GM for a restaurant, and I mean, whether it was being asked countless numbers of times why we didn't have a crucifix in the restaurant, or getting the death stare after you've brought back parents' children who are just, sprinting across the restaurant.
Hold on, who's looking around and be like, I know there's a bunch of cartoon lizards and paintings there. Where's that crucifix? I know there's a picture of
some Latin
Warwick Dunn from 97.
Yeah, some Latin memas. Oddly enough,
you got Chuck Norris with the double Uzi.
It's becoming increasingly hard for me to eat my Taco Tuesdays with all of the pictures of snipers on the wall. A lot of snipers when you go to this particular taco joint. Like a lot of sniper, and then the sniper sends a little letter that says, "Hey, when I'm not killing people with my sniper rifle, I love your your tacos. Not your double D. Sorry, I don't want to mix them. If I mix them, it's bad."
You took the time to put an 8x10 of Mark Duper up there. It's not even relevant anymore. Like, not the 90s.
Who is that? Davey Allison? I think he died in a helicopter crash. All right, one more Mike B. I'll give you one more Mike B. This one they get better with Mike B. He's like the anti everybody else that calls, like because he's like, I think that last one was bad. Hey guys, he tries real hard. He tries really hard. All right, here.
Hey, Mike B from the Owner Radio Show here again.
I'm slipping.
Also, if you come into a fucking restaurant right before they close,
still with the close.
Don't be fucking pissed off or upset that we're putting up chairs and rolling up mats and trying to sleep around you. Don't be asking for a manager to make complaints about them putting the restaurant away around you because you're here after close. I understand that you paid and you're here to enjoy your meal, but I'm gonna check on you and
okay, there you go.
So we've learned that Mike B hates his job. I mean, he can't stop leaving drunk messages about it. He's begged Jana for help. She gave up on him, I think.
She did. Well,
she rolled out of here.
Yeah, I was gonna say, was it a coincidence that after Mike B she left?
Yeah, it's like I can't fucking help these people.
You said one right. I gotta go.
I gotta get out of here.
This has been horrible at the time.
He's in charge of a dance party on our cruise, right?
Yeah. Oh yeah. It's the best person for the
it's
job.
gonna be awesome.
He's going to talk to all of you about how much he hates his job.
He's gonna start like, "Hi guys."
You know what? This is my party, and I'll cry if I want to.
Okay, let's talk about what Mike is talking about. If you go into a restaurant, I won't go in even 15 minutes before they close. I'll be like, nope, I'm inconvenienced.
But wait a minute.
They wanna...
Now, I went in half an hour before close, I believe with you, at Five Guys.
That's fine. Half an hour.
Well, that guy was not saying it was fine.
No,
remember?
Yeah. Well, everybody wants to get out
and
of
I
here.
told,
We're all here to get out of here.
And I told that black tooth motherfucker about his ass, didn't I?
Yeah. I never went back after you.
I can't go back there.
What the fuck are you saying?
Okay, so I was I was
yelled
mad,
at him.
mad.
Oh, no. That's awesome.
Like I came in, I'm like,
fuck your attitude.
No, but what happened?
He was kind of giving you attitude, or like because it was half an hour. It was like 8:30. They closed at 9 or something like that.
Yeah, it was a half an hour.
But half an hour is fine. Like when you
It's
do
a
10,
Especially with Five Guys.
fast food.
Yeah,
it's
you're
a
fine.
fast food fucking burger.
You're
Black
fine.
Tooth.
Yeah, you're fine.
Technically, like even 10 minutes
This
before you
motherfucker.
close is acceptable in a fast food place.
Right.
You know, maybe if you're at
I would show up at like a Wendy's like 2 minutes before they fucking close.
Yeah, you're an asshole. You're an asshole.
Of course you would.
I want a fucking Frosty. Don't fucking tell me it's closed. It's broken.
And this guy, he's like, he gave me some attitude about like, oh, well, you know, we're almost closed and we thought we were going to get to close early tonight or something like that. And I was like, well, you're not going to get closed early tonight, you fucking black tooth falling out here, motherfucker. And then Andrea's like, please stop. He's had some beers. And then you guys made me leave and I was like, fuck you. I was like, mad.
God, I can never go here again.
Yeah, I can't either.
Like,
I live next to it. I've never been back.
I put my shirt over my face like a bank robber so they wouldn't see me. I was like, I love Five Guys.
I was like, fuck you. And I was like, I think the last thing I said was fuck you and where your potatoes are from. Like I said something, but it was witty. It was sort of witty. It was like, I don't need to know where your fucking potatoes are from if you tell me I can't come in a half an hour before you fucking close.
Yeah, that's crazy.
But yeah,
never been back.
But like 5 minutes, and then when you sit inside the restaurant while the all the employees are cleaning up, putting the and every chair is turned over besides the one you're sitting on. Even you're eating at the table, there's chairs on.
No, but if you do,
out of there.
If you do, when you're done, turn the chair.
Yeah.
Turn the chair over.
Or leave giant mess. Like
you know, I do that. I do that at bars. Like you know, a lot of bars they like to angle their pub chairs at the tables. They angle them to give them more room. If I get out of that chair and I'm going someplace else or leaving, I'll angle the chair the way they want it.
Also,
like I'm a good patron, man. I tip good. I'm a good patron.
Be careful about being a dickhead at food places, because when I worked at Substantial in high school, I remember someone came in like 1 minute before close, and it was like a weeknight, so there was barely anybody in. We closed at like 10 or some absurd time on like a Wednesday, and someone rolled in like 1 minute, and we'd already like packed up all, you know, there's like a toppings bar.
Like a reach-in, yeah.
And then we packed up everything, put it already in like the bottom, and everything was put away. And the guy was like, I want a meatball sub. I'm like, I'm sorry, sir. We've already got rid of
Lexand everything.
we got rid of the meatballs. He's like, this is goddamn ridiculous. He started throwing a huge fit.
He's right.
He's like, I'm going to call your manager.
I would do that.
And then I was like, all right, I'll get your meatballs. I went back and we poured the meatballs in the slop bucket. And then, I just ladled them out. It was on the top.
Okay, I'll never do that. You know what? You win.
Room
you fucking
temperature
win.
slop
no, you
meatballs.
fucking win. I was gonna call your manager and shit. I'll never
bucket.
do this. I learned my lesson. I'm
It was
sorry.
like if you throw your ice cream sundae on the top of the
That's
garbage.
a fucking
it's still
restaurant
fine.
horror story.
No,
I
stop
haven't
it.
heard too many.
You
That's
know what?
fucking one of them.
What you're telling me, I should have never fucked with that Five Guys. I'll never do it again. I've learned my lesson.
And then I fucking gave him his meatball sub out of the slop
Here's your
bucket.
fucking meatballs, you piece of shit.
It was fine. It didn't touch the garbage underneath. It was on the top.
This is a Seinfeld episode. You always reference things in your life from Seinfeld.
That's what happened. And gave it to him, and he left. And I was like, you're eating the slop bucket, you motherfucker. You know, whatever. I was fucking 17. Hated the world.
Emails or voicemails? Are we still doing voicemails?
Shit, I don't know. Should we get out of here?
Let's just do one more and we'll get out of here.
Okay.
Let me see. I'm looking. I might have something good here. Oh, this is a good one. This is just to make you feel bad. This one's for you.
No.
Hey, Tom, that was the perfect Don Vito impression on the Friday Freak Show. It was awesome.
should do that more often.
All right, there you go. That guy thinks you sound just like Don Vito.
Yeah. I have been, get
Earlier today, you were
overexcited and
Vito crazy.
I start mumbling.
Pedophile, right?
Well, he's not a pedophile. Who knows?
He's dead now,
I think he died before they could get him. I don't know
he
what
was convicted.
Was he? Oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
Wait, is this another Mike B?
Hold
on a second. It might be 5.
No.
Oh, play that
5
one.
Bs?
Yeah. No. That's the same one. Okay, I'm just double checking. Let's do one email, and then we'll get out of here.
Okay.
How about that?
All right. Let's.
We'll end on an email.
Again, check out Semantics. 3rd anniversary.
You coming out, right?
Nah, well, I mean,
you're gonna leave for a little bit. You're gonna come out. You're gonna have one beer. Bam! You go. No.
You think I'd get offended at one point because people compare me to the Don Vitos and a lot of other people.
It was your haircut.
But it's super disrespectful. Like,
you're a business owner. And a father.
I know. You know what I noticed, and this is what's really funny.
Oh no!
You know what I noticed is it's gonna hurt your heart, but you know it's true.
No.
I've noticed that when your sons, both of them, when their hair gets just a little too long,
yes,
it's
dude,
fucking little Vitos.
That's a great pizza chain.
It's in the blood, dude. I noticed it because normally I'd be like, oh, it's a Tommy, but Max, his hair was just a little long, and I was like,
shit. Archie Manning had 2 Super Bowl champions. So I gave my sons Vito haircuts. That's what I leave to him. It's all right. Oh, by the way, Max was playing with a tiny little gravedigger last night. This happened, and he was playing with it. I was like, getting his pajamas
you were
on.
buzzed, and you saw it out of the corner of your eye. Didn't you?
No, I said, hey, you like gravedigger there? He's like, yeah, I love gravedigger. And then I was like, I want to show you a video. He's like, I know what you're going to show me. I know you jump gravedigger.
He said that?
I was like,
See,
God
even
damn.
he's over it, dude.
Is he
Even he is over it.
He might be your son then. That sounds like something Samantha would say.
I love Max.
Oh, they're the best. They're sweet boys.
I want to dance with him.
Then I showed it to him anyway, and then I was looking at it.
Why are you forcing it on him?
And then I looked at it, and he's looking at the other gravedigger toy.
He's playing with it. He's driving it in the carpet.
Like, it's about to happen. It's like, look at the champion.
Yeah.
And then I know that was it. It was like, well, that's the most impressive thing I had. And you're already over.
Well, I will tell you.
You see how bad it gets from there.
I will tell you every night.
When did I tell you they used to compare me to Don Vito and show you who Don Vito is?
He doesn't know who Don Vito is.
Oh, when I show them, they'll be like, ooh.
To make you feel worse, I will let you know that every night before my daughter goes to bed, I tuck her in and I lean in and I give her a smooch right on her lips. Yeah. And she looks me in the eyes and she goes, ew, stinky breath. I could have just brushed my teeth. It doesn't matter what I do.
Yeah.
Yesterday, she called me butter teeth.
Kids are the greatest.
I think my teeth are pretty damn good.
Yeah. But
she called me butter teeth.
Yeah,
I feel like it's a conspiracy.
All right, let's do one email and get out of here. What do we got here?
I had to email because I hear you guys say this a lot. The best way to use wet wipes. Use toilet paper to get rid of waste and wet wipes to clean. That way you aren't putting wet wipes with waste in the trash can. You can you use only a little bit of toilet paper and cleaning your skin without the mess. This is the most cost effective because you are using the cheapest product to get rid of waste and the more expensive to clean, and you don't need as many wipes because the waste is gone for the most part. Also, no brown wipes in the trash and no smell. Feel free to read on the show so Orlando knows how to wipe their ass.
Ew. Yeah, it's a cultural thing, though. Didn't we discover that, you know, like maybe if you came from South America or something and the plumbing's not as good, you're going to wipe your butt and stick it in the trash can.
Yeah. That's other countries.
It's pretty gross.
Yeah,
but if it dries, is it still gross? It's only gross when it's...
Yeah.
Nah,
you got to put a cap on it like a smoldering cigarette.
What if you had to stuff your paper down that wall? You know they have the cigarette disposal like a big tube, and a long, skinny,
better.
and then a
That'd
hole
be
on
better.
top.
Less smell, right?
Like make it wider.
But when it fills up, that's the worst. That's the worst day of the month. The shit pile.
Nothing was grosser than when like Tom. Well, you saw me at my worst. You come over to my house. I'm living in Deltona. I'm brokenhearted. I'd been cheated on by this big titty bitch, and there were cigarette butts. I mean, and beer cans everywhere. And then I had an ashtray, a jumbo ashtray. And it had cigarette butts in it, but it had rained in it. Magnifique.
I'm
so stinky.
That broth is so good.
Oh, how much to drink it?
You know the wizard did because I'm going to see him this weekend. It reminded me.
You know what the wizards did?
When he went to bail the Grizz out of jail that time he got arrested for the not paying his boat ticket out the whole story.
Right.
He bailed him out like they got money at the party. They bailed him out of jail and he stole the cigarette butt, the long thing with the skinny thing in front of the Gainesville
They're
jail,
expensive.
county jail.
Yeah, they're
and
expensive.
then ran and put it in his car and then he had it for the rest of his college life.
Where?
In
the dorm room?
No, in the front of his shitty apartment.
Actually, I mean, like you can buy them online now. You can buy them from like Uline or something like that. I mean, they're good. I mean, we probably should, not for here, but like if we had a bigger studio and had more guests that were like musicians or something, it'd be a wise thing to buy.
But I was like, you stole this from the fucking jail? You just bailed out the Grizz from? I was like, oh yeah. You did. What if they went to jail?
Oh yeah.
He falls right
coming
back.
He was talking about Gravedigger.
Coming right
No.
back.
Oh,
You heard it too. I'm glad. He goes, oh yeah.
He's channeling. He's channeling him.
Hold on a second. The bear's still inside. We just must awaken it.
Right?
Yeah, I heard it.
Yeah, I heard it
That
too.
came from the soul.
Oh yeah, it was like a guttural. Oh yeah. Are you itching, buddy?
I knew we should have ended 10 minutes ago. I was like, let's end this. I mean, I couldn't help myself.
All right, plug some stuff.
Couldn't help myself.
Plug some stuff. We'll get out.
All right. So Samantha's going to be at Rock Pit Brewing tomorrow. Starts at 2.
Help you? That's what I'm here for. No, that would be a help. What? Suck my dick. Yeah, it would be. It's nasty.
It's nasty.
That's what my wife says.
Butler, what do we got going on at the Watering Holes?
All right, so tonight at Cafe Da Vinci is a free concert, Brother Within. It's a pretty awesome organic white boy reggae from Daytona Beach. Check them out. They start at 10 p.m. Get there early. Get a pint from Persimmon Hollow. Sunday.
Persimmon Hollow or Persimmon Hollow?
Persimmon.
Persimmon.
I'm saying it fast. I'm so fast it's you just can't quite
Persimmon
get it.
Hollow. Persimmon.
Sunday, they're not a sponsor. I don't care. Sunday, it's Duffy's. We have from 1 to 4. They have Oyster Bob's Nautical Nonsense giving away free oysters. They're doing grilled and
Wait a
raw
minute, you're
oysters.
Oyster Bob.
Don't tell anybody.
They're giving away some
That's
raw.
a goddamn secret. You know it. That's my side hustle. Oh shit, they're in my trunk. It's a hot. Anybody want some hot trunk
Oyster Bob's hot trunk oyster?
Oh, they'll get you.
So, Oyster Bob's Nautical Nonsense will be having their pop-up oyster bar giving away raw and char-grilled oysters while supplies last. And that's all sponsored by Absolute Vodka. There'll be drink specials, giveaways, live music, and more. And then
That's what I call my dick is a pop-up oyster.
And then every Wednesday, Brew Tap House, go by there. They have Kill the Keg. It's $4 on select drafts. Not to mention they have an amazing selection of other restaurants around them, BTW and Crafted Concoctions.
BTS
for all
is
their.
I love some BTS. Oh, they're so good.
We're not gonna get it through. It's just
What?
too crazy.
I fucking quit.
Whoa!
Violent! We did it!
Tom's been trying to.
Tom says we did it. That's so fucked up. We did it.
You know,
did it.
we gotta make fun of everybody. You know what? Nobody's safe.
Okay. Oh my God! All right, that was super duper fun
Hey,
today, guys.
come to Rock Pit Brewing tomorrow at 2 p.m. It's in South Downtown. We are going to have a silent auction. We got Universal tickets. We got Disney tickets. We got a DJ package from Orlando Music Syndicate. We got a shoe knife. I can't
Shin?
pronounce all these.
Like a Shin kitchen knife. Yeah.
SHUN. It's from
Shun,
Juan.
or Shun,
Oh,
I guess.
I thought it was a shoe knife like you wear a spy where it comes out the
with
front.
with a Kanoki cutting board cooking lesson from Juan. We also have tickets to Patton Oswald, which will also be tomorrow night. Nikki Glazer, Whitney Cummings. We have a Semantic swag bag basket. We have a Tom and Dan prize pack, a Cigar City prize pack. Orlando Magic tickets. We have art from the Yellow Brick Road Foundation and a Tijuana Flats gift pack from Mike B himself.
Yeah!
So
From
come
the
out.
king,
There's all
Mike
that,
B.
and also we're gonna have free gift bags. We're also gonna sell the White Bullets t-shirts that Dan has on right now.
This one right
as
here.
well as Semantics and Rock Pit Brewing co-branded pint glasses. And we're going to be donating a lot of the money to Orlando Girls Rock Camp. So
There
please
you
come
go.
out and join us.
Awesome.
Also, Lazy Moon Pizza from Joe Byrne.
Had that
from Byrne Pest
yesterday.
Control.
Yeah, had that with Maisie likes the Lazy Moon. So
Never had it, so I'm excited.
Maisie Moon Pizza. Yeah, it's good. It's good. It's
Did you say Maisie Moon Pizza?
Maisie Moon Pizza. Yeah, I took her there yesterday. She loved it. Guys, today was awesome. Thanks to Jana for being our guest.
Speaking of Jana, if you want to follow her, realjana.com or Real Jana Banana on all our social media. But she's doing speaking engagements. I know she's maybe going to start a podcast sometime soon.
Yeah, not like a weekly thing, but more of a, like, hey.
Small daily thing.
Yeah, after
yeah.
I've written something, when I got something on my mind, something like that.
Yeah, and but we'll tell you more about that because we're definitely going to have Jenna back in again.
She's great. Got to have her husband in now talk about the nipple.
No.
That's insane.
Or lack thereof.
Yeah, I know, right? But anything else?
No, thanks to my foot golf team that came in today.
Awesome. I love these guys. They're ne'er-do-wells. They had a good time. They laughed. They laughed aplenty.
And Samantha, just so you know, I do this to everybody because I told my foot golf team I was going to go have a beer with them after as part of the foot golf thing.
And you're not.
I forgot. I got to leave to Fort Wilderness right after.
Yeah.
Oh, you told them we were going to have a beer after this show.
Yeah.
And we'll go beers. It's a tomboy girl party.
And then I haven't.
Again,
By
like
the way,
I
I
said,
haven't
he
told them
lies
yet. This
about
is how-
everything. He never fulfills his promises.
I
His
want-
guarantees are never guaranteed.
I want to have a beer with him.
That doesn't count. You
I
can't just
feel-
say, I wanted to do this,
I
so
feel
that my
like-
guarantees count. That doesn't count.
I feel like it counts a little bit.
No, they don't.
Because if I didn't want to.
Don't feel bad, guys. He didn't come to my wedding. He's not coming to my event. It took him 2 years to come on my show. It's fine. I worked free for them for 7 years.
Tom still thinks.
Do we have those tickets? I promised
Please
Bill.
don't love me into that.
Tom, tonight? Yeah.
I think Tom thinks that it doesn't really I think in his mind he does think that it doesn't really mean anything if I just say that and I don't show up. But over time it does.
I know. It'll
No,
eventually build
I
up
never.
to the.
Anytime he says he's gonna, I just already say in my head he's not, and then when he does, it's a pleasant surprise.
Yeah, that's what my plan is. If you
he canceled on my show 3 times before he finally got in.
if everybody has such low expectations for you, then if you do anything, it's like when I put shoes on for the news. Everybody's like, "Oh, you wore shoes! Congratulations!"
Yeah, new
That's
shoes.
the most-
You are special needs.
That's the biggest congratulations I get all
he put
year.
shoes on
is when
himself.
He
people,
did good.
congratulate me for wearing shoes on the news.
Yeah.
all
we
right.
got to get out of
He
here.
just freestyled.
On behalf of myself, Butler, Sam, and Remy, we appreciate you guys so much.
I
Thanks so
deserve
much
that.
for listening, and we will see you next week.